American Craftsman podcast is sponsored by Hayfla. Hayfla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, shop carts, wood glue, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayfla.com. Welcome back.
Hey, all right. Yeah, with some James Brown. I like that. Heck yeah.
I had to do the new intro. It's not really new. I think maybe I took a new section of the song for season 4, and I was like, let me throw something.
I was going to say, you actually didn't change the song. You keeping it nostalgic, keeping it true.
That's Rob's.
Yeah. Oh, that's Rob's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's your band?
That's from 1992.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
Where were you in 92?
Probably just getting out of diapers.
11. Man, I was 11. What was I doing in 92?
I was 3.
I was just before I got the hammer, though. Probably messed around with something.
Well, if you don't recognize the voice, and if you didn't read the description of the episode, we're joined by our good friend, Tim Beardsley, True Trade Carpentry.
Hey, glad to have you back. I didn't think I was going to come back after, the woodpecker scandal, the pocket hole debacle.
Let's see.
We cross paths in a lot of different ways, but
let's see what the what episode the original was.
Episode 25, 26.
Man, that's like 120 episodes ago.
Look how many episodes we got.
Let's see.
I want to say 25, 26.
26.
Oh, okay, yeah.
March 3rd, 2021.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Almost 3 years.
Wow. Wow, lots happened in 3 years.
Yeah, we've been at it for
Don't give up.
For some time now.
Don't give up. Look at us. We got big boy shops now, too. I mean,
yeah.
I was in my garage at the time, I believe. You were...
and we were in a glorified garage.
You were you were back there.
Yeah. Referred to as many by a garage.
Yeah.
We get people in here like, I forget who, one of the salesmen had somebody who's like, these guys used to be in their garage. And I'm like, well, it wasn't really a garage.
It was just a small shop.
Yeah, it was a small shop. It's, what you build pressure out of, and it's how you get to here. You know, you don't get to here without just, I don't know, a lot of debt, without, building up some pressure. You know what I mean? Like you got to get that bubble and pop.
Unless you got a rich mommy and daddy or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Which we are not in.
No.
Or like a sugar mama.
No. Oh, man.
I don't have one of those either.
No. Well, yes and no. I got a pastry chef as a wife, so.
You do?
Yeah.
Newlywed here.
Yeah.
What's it been? A couple months now?
Yeah, a couple months. 2 months now going on. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yep. New homeowners, too. We just bought another new house, too.
Yeah.
So, lots changed.
Goddamn compressor.
Yeah, never fails.
I know.
Never fails at all.
Wow.
At least you're not leaving it on in the middle of the night at a homeowner's house. That used to be my favorite when I used to do, trim molding or something, or renovation.
Or
you just forget to
it
unplug the compressor.
Set on fire in your shop.
Oh, yes. We did have the one set on fire in the shop. Oh, my God.
We talked about that because... so you messaged in the group and, said something about it, or it might have even been the night before, but I was, we're in the Hamptons, like about to get to this job.
Yeah.
And I say to Rob, I'm like, we should really turn the compressor off at night, and then not 30 seconds, less, probably more 10 seconds later, get a notification from Simply Safe. Your smoke alarm is going off. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. We're on the Sunrise Highway.
Yeah, 3-4 hours away. So they call me. They're like, do you want us to dispatch police? I'm like, yes, absolutely. I'm we're 3 hours away. I'm thinking we're going to have to turn around. And it was a fluke. It was just
thank God.
Freak. Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, our electric motor caught fire, and it was, was doing one coat on some late night, actually for Keith Johnson. I turned around and, man, the belt whipped off the motor, and all of a sudden the thing just burst into flames. It was just...
It must have what do they call it when a diesel engine, it runs away?
Yeah.
Because it didn't have the tension, the load of the belt that the motor just...
Oh my God, it scared the shit. And then I don't know. I would suggest to anybody, practice a fire drill in your fucking shop. Because I'm not going to lie. Like, Keith looked at me for a second. I looked at him for a second. I started like blowing on the thing an asshole. And he's like, what are you, wait. And I just grabbed the extinguisher, which like, thank God, right next to me. But like, it was still like, I don't know. You plan for a fire drill in school, but you never plan for a fire drill in your shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it ain't a bad thing to think about doing. You know what I mean? And definitely turn off your goddamn compressor. Like, everything at night. Like my old shop, I used to hit the main breaker because, the old shop the wiring was a little sketchy. And if I wasn't there, I wasn't there. So it was a barn in the back of somebody's yard,
Some
shop.
aluminum wire, probably.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like that. It was just, I'm a carpenter, and I run some wires sometimes, to get things running. And, that was
with all the necessary permits, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're familiar.
Yeah, so we turn off the compressor at night, and that's really it. We have like lights that are plugged into the ceiling, and that's all old electric work. We turn those off.
Yeah,
but everything else is pretty much new.
Yeah, can't go wrong. We ran the new shop's got everything legit inspected. My brother did a fantastic job of running all the wiring and stuff. In fact, the electrician who we were going to hire came in and looked at like some of the work he did. So, yeah, you want to work for me? Like, pretty much was offering him a job. Like, he did such a good job. So, but that's
Yeah. I was in a couple of fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. One was in a restaurant.
Oh yeah, did the thing go off? What's it called?
The Ansel system.
Oh my God, the suppression systems they have.
Yeah. And one was in a house. Woke up to like smoke-filled house.
Yeah, that's scary.
I'm not gonna lie. That happened once when I was a kid, but like that's more like falling asleep, leaving a tombstone in the oven kind of situation. My brother Chris like smacking me awake, like, dude, what's the matter with you? Like,
sorry.
Yeah,
my bad.
In Texas, I don't know if they have them anywhere else. It's like a gas furnace, almost like we have hanging in the shop, and it's in the floor. So it's like a big grate.
Oh, it's in like the crawl space?
Yeah, it's a big grate in the floor. And we had this party.
Oh, that's like what? Yeah, like my house, if you go into the basement, like where that, I don't know if you have been to my house since we moved things around. When you walk in the front door, there's that wall. There's the two doorways that go into the kitchen. There's that wall.
Yeah.
Right below that, there was a big, like a 3x3 grate.
Yeah, I used to eat the whole house back in the day. Yeah, it was a cold furnace by downstairs. Yeah.
So if you look in the basement, you could see where it's boxed. Now it's boxed in.
Yeah,
it was one of those, and we had this party, and somebody pushed a piece of furniture over it, and it caught on fire.
Oh my God! It happens.
the stupid things you're lucky to live through as a kid.
Oh God, yeah.
So we have all the like mandated fire extinguishers by the doors.
Yeah.
But really, like if something was to happen, those are not in very good spots.
No, they're not at all.
Run over here.
There's one by the garage door, which is like the furthest point from any machine. That one. There's one by the side door, one by the back door.
Yeah.
We really should have one like on the lolly column where the cabinet saws are, maybe.
Yeah, I would keep one. I mean, my shop's like more narrow, so like one's by the office, one's by the back door. They're both like within like 2-second run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're both pretty visible.
Those are weird spots to be mandated, right by the exits. I don't know why.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like you can, as you're running for the fire extinguisher, you can be like, "Oh fuck this, I'm out of here."
Yeah,
the fire got too big, so I just left.
Yeah, exactly. Really, it should be like on the pole, like next to the saw.
Yeah,
But,
even just like some of those small ones.
Yeah. But hey, everybody thinks it's going to be like a dust explosion or something. Like, you don't think, the electric motor on my, one thing's going to catch fire. Also, like, think about your table saw too. Have you all gotten down dirty in your table saw and been like, man, this thing's packed, like, oh, yeah. We've all been there, shit, should have cleaned this out a month ago.
Especially the unisaw. That thing just fills up.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The unisaw. Yeah.
Not as much here that it's just sharing the dust collection with the saw stuff.
Oh yeah,
and we don't use them. But in the old shop, oh my God,
because it went through the floor and then up and then into the thing.
Just wasn't enough suction.
No, I get it. Yeah. I completely understand. Like, I try to do a pre-filter before my dust collection, so I don't have to clean it as much because whatever. shitty. But yeah, I know when I run that, it doesn't have enough suction to clean out the unisaw. It's got to be like a direct line to the unisaw because there's so many openings in the unisaw. You know what I mean? It needs to run that much.
Yeah, and you've got like tape over like the angle thing.
Yeah, that's like the hussy too. The waving hussy. You have to have like
we don't even.
You just let that thing fly.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are animals. I love it. Love it.
Occasionally, I'll take it off like the joiner and stick it on
you know
there,
what? I think that's the problem with shop people. Sometimes, if you don't come from a construction background, you don't think like that. Sometimes it's got to be perfect. There's got to be this perfect situation. It doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? You got to just go at it sometimes. Like, yeah, let the dust fly. See how it lands. You know, like, okay, it didn't work. We'll try it this way. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's just so many guys out there that are just stuck in like, it's got to be a perfect cut every time and a perfect situation. Like, no, just jam the thing through the saw and go. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes. Not all the time.
The hussy doesn't bother me because it comes off in those flakes.
Oh, yeah.
It's well a router that's the worst.
Yeah, a router bothers me too. And it's funny because I've got a video going viral right now, and you've seen it, and I'm cutting this curved piece of molding with the table saw.
Yeah,
and it's the thing's up to like almost over 500,000 views, and like the comments are great because people like I don't know who don't follow me like are just seeing the video for the first time. Like, that's so unsafe, and you should use a router. I'm like, first of all, router's gonna blow this shit out. Like, you got
a reference surface that's only 2 inches wide.
Like that's very unsafe. Like, I'm just running straight lines, and I'm just cleaning the roundabout with the saw. Like, if you know the saw and you know how to work the saw, it's safe. You know, like pushing things through a router is not always the answer. You know, like
that was like I put up a video. Freehanding, so I was making a thing to hold the spray gun. So it's just a rectangle.
Yeah, I remember the video.
With a V-cut in it. And I knew, that I was posting it because I knew that people would.
Sometimes you do that, but I was just like, sometimes in the moment I was like, man, that was a really. I thought it was a genius thing. Instead of having to go over to my freaking router, set up another bit, have to take multiple passes on it. So like I'm like, multiple passes on this thing and yada yada. It's like, no, I just went over to the table saw, I set it to the thing, did the back cut, did a few sweeps on it, and then ran it through and cleaned it up, and it was perfect. It's what I needed because in the backside nobody cares. You're never going to see any of it.
Yeah, an oak with a router, just bad news.
Yeah, exactly.
You're really good with curves.
Just climb cut it by hands with a palm router.
I've had more blowout on routers, and they're more dangerous than you would think. You know what I mean? They really are. They're pretty dangerous. I mean, I know we know a fellow carpenter just lost half a finger last year about this time. With
dumbass.
Yeah. Well, listen, hey, dude, it's never when you think it's going to happen. It happens when you don't think it's going to fucking happen.
Yeah, that's why it's an accident.
You know what I mean?
I'm just kidding. I hope you're listening. So you get that.
Me and him are part of that 9 3/4 club. You know what I mean? We share an elite club.
Platform 9 3/4.
Yeah, I got my thumb on a table saw many years ago. So
yeah, we talked about that on the first episode.
Yeah. So
backroom surgery.
Yeah, backroom surgery. That was some shit. Yeah. We can move on from that one.
But yeah,
talk about brain surgery. We've had brain surgery since then.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that was what? Just was it a year or
it was
2
years ago? It was November 15th, 2022. Had my noggin checked. So, but yeah. You remember, I was making a lot of funny faces, I think, in our last time we did this, and that was due to that.
Remember.
No.
So what was I forget what it was called.
It was called trigeminal neuralgia. So basically, it's the compression of the trigeminal nerve, and it's up in the skull, and it actually is what the nerve. It controls the right or the left side of your brain, your face. So when that nerve is compressed, it feels like like you bump your elbow with like an electrical shock. But across your face, like through your mouth, depending on what side is what side it hurts on. And it, can be caused by eating, sleeping, touching, warm water, like anything that touched the right side of my head. It was, I say wild because it's the best way I can describe it because it was just like an electrical shock, like randomly any time of the day, like straight to the face.
Jeez.
Yeah, for a few years.
And how did that...
It just came about. It just came about one day. It really did. And then, like a lot of people do, they chase their mouths and their teeth because they think the nerve. And I did that. And my dentist couldn't figure it out. And then my ex-wife at the time played, Dr. Google and got me to a neurologist. Neurologists, they took one scan of my head. They're like, yeah, that's it right there. go down the hall and see that guy, or go on this medication for the rest of your life. And it took me probably about another year and a half due to COVID and also being a wuss. I don't want to get brain surgery, to finally get it done. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had major surgery at along. Like, hey, we're going to just, we're going to put you out in 4 hours. We're going to just, rattle through the back of your head, Now,
was it like a small scope that they went in with, or was
No, they took about a 6-inch piece by 1-inch piece out of the back of my skull, and actually had to go in there and basically wrap the nerve with Teflon. To relieve the pressure of the cells around the blood cells around it, and that's what actually relieves the pain.
Jeez.
So there's like definitely Teflon tape in the back of my fucking head right now. So
like pipe dope.
Yeah. But whatever, it works. Like, and the doctor is, not everybody gets 100% relief. And I actually was one of the patients I got that. So
wow.
Yeah.
How did they patch the skull?
No, they put it back, and then that's the hardest part is the recovery. You're 6 weeks, you can't do anything. And as we are carpenters, self-employed jerks, that's the hardest part.
Yeah. Did you have to wear like one of those safety helmets?
No.
You probably can't like lift anything heavy.
Yeah, basically you can't lift anything heavy because basically the brain fluid can come through the mesh of the skull. The skull actually has to recombine. Like a broken. It's basically a broken bone.
Okay.
It has to reconnect. You know what I mean? So, and then with you got a surgeon looking over you saying, "Yeah, don't do this because I don't have to go back in there and fix it because your brain matter can come through." And I'm like, I was like, all right, I'm not going to do anything.
That'll scare you.
Yeah.
So, what brand of multi-tool did they use to cut
I'd like to know. I really would.
Milwaukee or Makita?
Hope it wasn't a Dremel.
No, it was
Harbor Freight.
I don't know. It was the best nap I've ever had. Holy crap.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, recovered from that. And then, we moved into a new shop, that next July, we've been, hustling at it ever since. So,
How's it feel to have more space now?
I do love the space. It just obviously comes with a cost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously we're not a huge production shop, so it's hard to keep up. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. So we'll just keep trucking away and you learn. Like maybe we bit off a little bit more, but you just make it work and keep going, So but it's great to have an office like you guys have here.
Mm-hmm.
A bathroom. I've never had a bathroom in any of my shops. That sounds kind of weird to say, but the other shop we had was a barn in the woods, like legit. You know what I mean? Like we were a couple guys, just go out back and take a leak,
That was the old shop for us too.
Yeah, you just take care of business, And the other one was a garage, and then we just go in the house. But like, to be able to run over to the bathroom, it's like, it sounds weird, but it's great.
Yeah, I mean, even if it saves you, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink a lot of coffee and water and stuff. I might pee 10 times during the workday.
Yeah.
That's like saving a half hour.
Yeah. What is it called? Yeah, and then we have like a metal shop right next door, which is like fantastic.
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
Ryan Dempsey is Liquid Metals. So you can find him on the gram. He is just a phenomenal metalwork guy, and he's just a great guy to have next door. Like we're very, we push each other, help each other out. The camaraderie is great, and also he's like alumni. Like me and him grew up together. Like, and it just so happened to have a shop next door to each other.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Like, and he's got a forklift, so he's like,
I saw, you moving the shaper the other day.
Oh yeah, it's just unloading a thing about, but it's about having neighbors to help each other out. It's great. So
it must be cool. Are there any other shops in that?
Well, there's actually a tin knocker, I'll call him. Like, so there's a guy who does like sheet metal fabrication.
HVAC stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
If you ever need any custom dust shoots or anything.
I thought about calling him, but he does a lot of more square tube stuff. He doesn't do any round tube stuff. You know what I mean? So, it's more of like heat ducting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's got going on, but he's barely there, and like he seems to be doing okay. I'm like, maybe I picked the wrong trade.
Oh, we definitely did.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
We're at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah, isn't it funny?
Passion and profit. It's a hard knife.
That's like we were talking about, electric before. And I think last week we were talking about our electrician, how, whatever, that whole thing went south. But just like the perception of what it takes to do their work and the value of their work compared to what we do, it's like, I could do what you do tomorrow.
Yeah.
You couldn't do what I do. Not a fucking chance.
No, it's years. It takes years.
Yeah. And even then, I don't think you're cut out for it. Like,
yeah, you know, it's a hard pill to swallow. I get that, but there's also I see a lot that goes into it. I have a hard time with electrical work. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a lot of like, you know, taking pictures and looking at stuff. But I also get like, yeah, like I can hang a box and run a wire in a second and make it look somewhat decent. Yeah, can this guy do a triple stacked arch molding? No, I highly doubt that. You know what I mean? Like, but it sucks because there are smart, good electricians out there that like are quick. Like I have my electrician Mike Adams I use on my projects is phenomenal. Like he blows my mind. He's very simple and humble about it. You know, no, we're gonna do this, Tim. We're gonna do that. And he's only ever got mad at me once because I had to move something. But like he's just always like, okay, no problem, Tim. You know, and it's like we got you. You know, and he also never asks for a favor, and we don't barter. So maybe that's why we work together well. I have I'm very selective few about who I barter and do kind of some situations like that with. You know what I mean? Like, because
that's our stance now.
Yeah,
I've lost too many friends. You know what I mean? At this point, it's like you just this is my price. You know what I mean? This is what I do, and you know it is what it is. Like it sucks. You know, like
it's either free or you pay.
Yeah,
free or full price. That's,
yeah. I get that.
I'd rather do it for free.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We would do like a small, like so. Our plumber, he wants like a little console for his van. Like we barter something for that, you know, because even if we got the shit end of the deal, was it a couple hours? You know, it just like made out of melamine, stupid little thing. And you know, we could get him in here to whatever, fix the leak in the sink. Yeah. So that's cool. But you know, when you're bartering $50K worth of electrical work,
yeah, that's right.
That was a lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, you want to, if not, it almost has to, it can't be like, I'll get you down the road. It has to be like, hey, I want this made. And you're going to be like, okay, I want this done. And like, you agree on these two terms. You know what I mean? Because you have to agree. A payment's I can't just be like, hey, down the road, I'll get you. Because you're like, then it's like, hey, you remember I did that favor for you? And like, in their head is compounded to like, you know, like almost nothing, and they owe you so much. And in your head, it's the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, and I've had that happen where it's like I need all this work. Fucking, where's my fucking pay? You know, it's just like, yeah, he'll get you, but
that's like the guy we used to work for. He just repaid a debt that was like, I don't know, 10 years old, probably. Like, guy came in and did a bunch of work on the shop before he moved in, and so he just repaid that on a kitchen. Like, had to build a guy a kitchen like 10 years later.
No. I want to owe nothing.
And did a bang up job, I heard.
Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly, there were some issues.
Yeah,
but that's to be expected.
Stay focused. Don't worry about that. Just keep your head straight. That's what I'm learning. Like right now, like I guess in my 40s, is I'm learning to be very humble and like just stay focused and not bother with anything else going on that's not positive for you and going forward. You know what I mean? Like, I've wasted a lot of time with some, you know, other issues and thinking about other things. And it's like, you know, it's so much time wasted, you know?
Yeah. What's that? There's like a good saying in Stoicism about like, you know, like I don't know what it is exactly. It's like, but like, don't inflict pain on yourself worrying about things that could be, or whatever. It's like, you know, you worry about it when it happens. Like, don't.
Well, that's also like, it comes down to like, we're talking about the perfect cut before, you know what I mean? Like, you could sit there and prep all day and like worry about it, you know what I mean? Like, or you could go for it and like, it could work or it could not work. And then, you know what? You figured out what you did wrong. You get another piece of wood, you cut it again. You know what I mean? As long as you're walking away with all 10 digits or 9 3/4, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, just go for it again. It's just a piece of wood. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've had plenty of shit blow out, break, and you know what I mean? Like, lessons learned, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, you got to learn those hard lessons so that for the next time, you know, okay, we can't do it this way.
Yeah.
Or we have to, you know, make sure we do this before that, you know. That was like when we were making those doors the first time we got knives from Neil for the shaper. I was having those issues with the coping where it was actually feeding, you know, the shaper was pulling the piece sideways into the cutter and kicking it back. And, you know, just had to stop, reevaluate, change the setup.
This is not working. Like, you know when it's working and you're like, oh, I just got to just give it a little oof or just drop the, you know what I mean? And then you know, like, oh, no, this ain't cool. Like, this is, something's going to go across the shop at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like, or this is cutting so bad. Like, it's just hold on. I just had the same thing happen with Neil. Me and Neil were doing a very large raised panel for a door. That black set I just installed the last set in Clinton Hill. I got him to cut the knife for a hussy and also for the shaper, because you get slotted knives for the hussy.
Yep.
So you can use it to be the war, which is great if you want it, whatever. And I was running it through the hussy, and I just didn't like it. It had too much chatter coming out the back side. Like, I knew I couldn't consistently cut the panel, even though it was cut great against the grain, like across the grain. I was like, man, this is sweet. But still, at the end, it had the fucking, the cut. It just wasn't cutting smooth, whatever. So over to the shaper we went. We stood the freaking knife up around the panel like that. And, well, great.
Wait, so you can get knives that are corrugated and they have holes?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, oh yeah. They cost $1 or $2 more, but then you have a knife for both.
Yeah, sure.
It's a great option. Like, especially
just
for that.
pass that cost on to the customer.
Yeah, and then me and Neil, obviously, if you ever deal with Neil, I'll plug the heck out of Neil right now. M&T Tooling, he's just, besides being a fantastic mechanic, just a great guy to get on the phone with. And if you have a problem, talk it out with him. Like, hey, it's gonna be like this. Hey, it's gonna be like that. And he'll give you an honest opinion about it. Like, I don't think you should run it like that, or it'll be good like this. You're like, okay, thanks. I trust you. Or sometimes I'll straight up send over the wrong measurements. He's like, this doesn't scale out right. And I'll go back. I'll go back and I'm like, yeah, you're right. It should be this. Like, my bad.
We actually have moldings where I took a really thin cross cut.
Yeah.
Threw it on the scanner, scanned it.
Yeah.
He's like, scan it at 300 DPI, send it over, and he's able to just pull the image and make the exact knife.
I straight up send him chicken scratch with a few numbers. He sends me back beautiful drawings. And I say, send it to press, and I get a knife within a day or two.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's a fantastic guy to work with. So I was, and I'm not gonna lie, he pushed to get me because we were talking and I was getting knives from another guy. I won't mention his name. Great guy too. Getting my, I trust guys. I'm not one to shop around. That's me. I've used this pretty much the same hardware dealer. You know what I mean? Like, my whole career. Like, I want to know somebody and work with them. So like, my other knife guy was the same thing. I'd send him drawings and he'd be like, Tim, you're gonna have to do this. I was like, that's fine, because I know how to work the machine to make everything pretty much work on it. And Neil was like, I want to cut your knives. I'm like, Neil, I get a great deal from this guy. He's like, what do you get? He basically honored the price. And we, once we got a working relationship, I felt comfortable with him, and it didn't matter at that point. He could charge, not say charge me whatever, but like, I don't go, hey, it seems a little bit more than we used to pay. Like, I get it, like, it might be a little bit more work now. Metal might be going up a little bit more, and like, also, like, I want to be able to call my friend and have him on speed dial, what I mean? And have a great conversation with him, and then go, oh yeah, by the way, that job. Like,
yep. How many sets of knives do you think you have from Neil?
I have no idea.
Hundreds?
Not that many, but a lot. I probably, maybe I would say at least 100. You figure if I order a knife a month and I'm dealing with them for 3, probably 40 to 50 knives, I would say, easily, sets of knives. Yeah, oh yeah, those drawers get heavy quick, and it's like,
I was going to ask how you store them.
I just store them up right in a drawer, and then I have like little pieces of wood. I really need to get better storage for this shit to categorize this, because it's like, when you start out, you don't realize you're going to end up with so many knives. But if you ever see somebody's old knife collection, you go in anybody's shop, like, man, look at all these knives, and it's like,
then they get sold on Facebook for $1.
Yeah, but that's fine. They made their money, but like, if you ask me, it's people like, they're great, but like, I only use them once or twice. Like, I have very few knives. Like, I know the molding and I really enjoy using it. Like, simple panel moldings, get used a lot. Some panel, raised panel blades get used a lot. But like, I got a lot of like intricate stuff that like, it's only going to get used once. Where am I going to use this again? It was a historic detail on something that like I had to recreate and never use it again. Or we just got weird and decided to make something, new and different. And, that's the client's design. I'm not going to use that again. That's their design, which I think is also cool. Like, I'm not going to recreate this because I created it for you.
That's what you've done in the past.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of one-off stuff that, again, we probably have, I don't know, dozen and a half knives from Neil. Like, stuff that we used for one job that we'll probably never use again. It was just appropriate for that job.
Yeah. No, yeah. Again, you pass the price, the cost on to the customer, and yeah, you end up with the bench jingle, we call it, a little, extra steel. But yeah,
but it's good to have,
Oh yeah, it is great to have. I do. Like I said, there's some moldings like I even used in my old house that like I specifically love. There's a couple little detail moldings I had to recreate for Brooklyn that like I thought were fantastic. It's just had like the appeal of like, I don't know, just the stuff you don't see anymore today. I think little curves, little details to it that I enjoyed. I used it. So,
yeah, it's good too. If a client looks at your portfolio and they're like, "Oh, I love that molding that you used there," you're like, "Well, okay, here I got the knife." So,
oh, absolutely, yeah. We make everything custom in house, which is fantastic. And people sometimes have a hard time understanding that. Like, that's why a lot of the videos I've been doing, like I start out with like, "Hey, this is what we got, and this is what we got." Like I got a crappy opening and a pile of sticks. Let's see what we can do with this. You know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, we end up with this beautiful set of doors or whatever. And it's so gratifying. I don't know how anybody does anything different.
Yeah,
personally. So
I know. Yeah, to not be creating something.
Yeah, something, or just being able to walk away and look at something. I don't know.
Yeah, something tangible.
I get everybody's got
versus they're like, hey, sales were up this quarter. You're like, I did a good job.
Yeah, I guess, but everybody sees their work in different ways. You know what I mean? Like people can visually see that on a piece of paper and be excited, I guess, or a computer screen, like see their numbers. Personally, I look at numbers on a screen and go,
Yeah, I think to some degree, they may get some satisfaction, but they're not at the office on a Saturday at 6 a.m. and like, if that's the case for them, they're miserable. Whereas we might do that, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's cool. Like I like being here.
Yeah, no, I do. That's I guess that's the problem with loving what you do. You're always doing it. You're always at it. You're always thinking about it. And like last Friday night, I didn't have anything to do. I was at the shop till 9 o'clock. I'm like, my wife's like, what the doing? I'm like, yeah, but you were out doing this and the kids were off doing that. And I didn't have anything else really to do, like it's just what you love to do. And I clean my shop, like
I mean, that's great. That's like, that's like everyone's dream, is to have a job that you like enough to go there when you're not required to be,
Yeah.
I love a clean shop.
Yeah, I do. I'm a Tasmanian devil. Like I am not organized at all. That's what I say. You're asking how I organize my knives. Like I bought a Craftsman toolbox like whatever years ago and just started throwing knives in it with like, and then like, okay, that's full. Then we had to like make little racks in there, and like, yeah. And then now I have like a box of like, I just save like a little trim piece of each, you know what I mean? So you know what you got. You actually can physically see it. And
that's not that we haven't done that, which we should.
Yeah, but Neil also does
piece
great
of
with
acrylic.
No, the piece of acrylic is great too. That's actually the form of it, but he does the whole barcode on the back, not the barcode,
QR code.
The QR code that is on the back, which is fantastic. But scan it and screenshot it before you put your knives in. Because I was looking for mine the other day, and I'm like, "Fuck, it's already in there."
It's on the backside.
Anyways, I found it, but still, it was just, man, damn it, the QR code's on the back. But yeah, no, he does that, which is fantastic. But like, I wish I actually had like a binder I could look through or whatever at the time, because a lot of the old knives from my other guy, he would send me just basically a paper copy in the invoice of what the knife was. You know what I mean? And that was it. Where Neil's, has gone as far as make digital drawings and put them out there, So, which are fantastic.
You can digitize the whole thing.
Yeah.
What kind of saw blades are you using in your table saw?
I think I use Forrest, but
we used to use Forrest.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I just sent a bunch out to them to get blade sharpened, and I wasn't satisfied. And then I have, I honest to God have like a bin of fucking blades. So like when I get 3 back, I send 5 out, but I literally have a bin of like, your standard crappy red Diablos that like I just sharpen. Yeah.
We got the answer.
Yeah. So if you're not satisfied with Forrest, we got your answer for you right here. We want to thank our sponsor, Ridge Carbide. When you need the right saw blade for the job, put your trust in Ridge Carbide Tools.
Yeah, for over 50 years, Ridge Carbide has been producing industrial saw blades designed with exact specifications for the cutting results you expect.
Before you buy, give Ridge Carbide a call and they'll help you determine the right tool that meets the needs of your project and your budget.
Yeah, and after the sale, Ridge Carbide provides sharpening services for all your saw blades, dado sets, router bits, and jointer planer knives.
Located in good old Kansas, USA, Ridge Carbide Tools provides high-quality products with outstanding customer service at a fair price. What are you cutting? You like that?
I do. But I'm about to go. Weren't they in New Jersey?
Yeah, they were. So Ridge was, I think, maybe across the street from Forest or something. They were right both there in it's Clifton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for years, this company in Kansas called Everlast was actually producing a lot of the blades for Ridge Carbide.
Oh, okay.
And in 2021, I believe it was, Everlast actually bought them out. So now, the whole company is based in Kansas. Yeah. We use a lot of Everlast and Ridge Carbide. The Everlast blades are...
I think I have an Everlast blade, actually. I think Keith gave me one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. There actually is a nice blade. It's a sprawled out blade. I'm not particular about my blades. I don't know. And in case you ever realize, I come from a framing background and whatever cuts, and when it doesn't cut, I get rid of it, or put it to the side and get to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me a lot of detailed questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I just do it, or I just use it, and it's I'm not particular about my blades. I'm really not. You know what I mean? I've gotten into using some more high end blades recently, but. I don't know.
It might convert you.
Yeah. No, I know, dude. I'll send them. I got a pack of blades. I'll send out there next. You know what I mean? I literally have them in the. No, I think they're in the van. I can mail them out. Just give me the address. I'll give them a shot. I wasn't exactly happy. Felt like I had a snaggle tooth. I don't know. You ever you have a blade that's I feel like I describe it. It was just the one tooth felt like it was just a snaggle tooth. It just wasn't a clean, full cut through. And I don't know how else to describe it. And I was annoyed because it was one of my nicer blades. I sent out. Usually have I have 2 or 3 really nice blades, and like I said, I have a bin full of the old red Diablos, whatever, that I send out to get sharpened, and they work. They look at me and smile, but they fucking work. I'm sending them to the same place that this place sharpened, so they're getting the same edge as this place. No. Does this steel not last as long, and I have to send them out quicker? Probably, but when you have an entire bin full of them,
and you leave all that red paint on your wood.
Not if you're cutting properly. If you're fucking cutting properly, you should not have any red shit on your you know what I mean?
I feel like the plates on those blades just heat up. They don't take the heat as well, so they start to wobble. When you're doing a lot of cutting because they get hot.
Yeah. But I don't know. A table saw is not a finish. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, really, where's your last edge?
If you're using a Ridge Carbide.
Yeah, maybe, but where's your last edge going? You ask me. It's usually going on the joiner, and then you're sanding it. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I had some great blades I could join off of. I will join off of, but no matter what, you're joining and sanding a finished edge. Long and short of it.
Yeah.
You're setting that joiner to skim, and you're gonna give it a sand. You're done. Oh,
give it a shot.
Yeah. I'm in.
There's a simple joy in running a piece of wood past a beautiful blade.
I'm not gonna deny that at all. I'm not.
We're due for some sharpening.
Yeah. Well, that's why I try to do. I look and see when I never send it out when I'm taking the last blade out. I always want to have a pile come back when I have a blade left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like when you get down to the last freaking stick of the freaking pile and you're like, I didn't have enough lumber. Because if you get through the job and you have nothing left, you didn't have enough. Something could have happened. That's where I'm at with this freaking door I'm building right now. I'm literally down to my last piece of 5/4. And it was just
is it quartered or is it?
Oh, it's quartered.
I was going to say,
quartered.
I was going to say we got some flat. We could spare you a couple pieces.
No, and I have 2 pieces of rift that I could probably. That riff and quartered are pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
That if I need some smaller detail pieces, but man, I called my salesman. I was like, dude, what is this? And this is why I like to use one company. Because it'll come out for me. I'm not a huge shop. I'm ordering, whatever, it was a couple hundred board feet at a time. I try to, stack it up. I'll order a large amount of sapele and oak and pine, usually in one shot. That'll get me a few months, you know what I mean? Which I like having because you just want to start grabbing shit. You don't have to be like, I got to order material. But man, I looked at this white oak because shit's so expensive right now, and I ordered just what I needed. I was like, man, we literally went through the pieces like I've never done prior and labeled each one like, hey. And I got down to the pile, and I'm making the mullion right now, and I got like a 2-inch by 10-foot piece left. That's it. That's it in the pile. That's it. And that's too close. I'm like, yeah, I just made it. That's too close.
What are they getting for cord right now? 9, 10?
Yeah.
11?
Yeah. Now used to white oak used to be the freaking cheaper option, but now quarter even, and like
quarter used to be 7, like just going back like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's one of my first jobs. I'll never forget my first big door job, commercial job, not commercial, but like historic job was in Brooklyn at Park Slope, and we did a whole bunch of quarter sawn doors, and I straight up like laminated like 5/4 quarter sawn white oak because it was just plentiful. There's so much of it. Nobody's using it. It was plentiful. Like, I mean, I didn't say I wasted it, but like we just used it, like now I'm like veneering things with it, I'm freaking doing stave cores. I'm making every bit of it, last. Like I'm not hiding a bit of that away, Yeah. And if you look at the doors we're building right now, like they're just, I mean, the flake in them, like they're by far the last doors we're going to do this year, but my favorite, just as far as detail, simple, clean, letting the wood speak for the, the piece.
Yeah.
And, but they're going to be, I'm going to say this, people are going to be shocked. They're going to get stained black,
Oh, man, you're the black door bandit.
I am the black door bandit, and it breaks my heart, but at least these will be stained. So I'm hoping the flake and the grain still shows through. But you see the way I paint my doors, you still see the grain.
Yeah.
The grain is still very heavily like seen. With the emerald paint I use, like you can, it's painted, but you can see the grain. It's not a smooth surface.
Yeah.
So and people don't understand this until I explain it to them that like painted is harder. Like to do a clean painted piece is harder than doing a stained piece.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
And people are like, oh, but it's painted. But like, yeah, there's nothing to hide the mistake. When you look at a stained piece or grained piece, you're getting caught up in the grain, the beauty of the wood.
Oh yeah, you can have joints with gaps.
Yeah, you don't get crazy here. But
well, not like big gaps, but like a hairline gap in something stained, you can't see.
No.
But painted, it highlights that gap.
Oh, absolutely. Or a dink, or a ding, a nail hole, any flaw, even like a chatter in the blade. The moldings. Everything's got to be like spot on, and people
That's
just
why
don't.
You got to have a nice sharp ridge carbide blade.
I know. So you guys, am I leaving here with a fresh one? And is that how sponsored are we here?
No, we haven't even gotten it yet.
Damn it. Come on now.
That's season 5.
Rich Carbide here. Make it rain. Let's go. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, painting is, I'm having my own paint battles right now with bubbles. I just can't get rid of the bubbles.
What are you using?
The Enduro General Finishes.
Yeah. I've not, and again, is that like,
it's a poly.
It's a poly? Does it have a catalyst?
No, it's a 1K.
Is it?
They do sell a 2K.
I'll try that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
I hear it. I you know what? Again, like I use. What do I use? So I use the Emerald, Sherwin-Williams Emerald. It's like my favorite. It's like it's a urethane based.
That's what we used on the Nancy's yellow.
I dilute it, 10%, so it's like 2 ounces, 20 ounces of material. And what I do, what people think is weird, is I heat it up, so I get the viscosity up on it. I should use a pressure cup. I actually have a little stove in the freaking shop, and I double boil the paint, and I get a little steamy, and I kind of stir it, and I feel it. I know when it's where it needs to be. You know what I mean? It's not bubbling, it's not hot, but it's the viscosity is
like a candy maker.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I drop that shit in there, and usually I have another cup ready to go. So like after that cup, the other cup's ready and hot, and kind of keep it going. And man, it lays out so beautiful.
I've seen people do like a heating pad like around the can too.
Yeah, no, yeah, whatever. I was just one day, I'm like, man, would you heat this up? I'll just heat it up. I'm like, okay. And it worked. It came out great. And I just kind of continue with that, Oh. Yeah. But yeah, painting is definitely harder than stain. Yeah. It is. Like, so.
Yeah,
but this door should be, I guess, a testament of both, because I've done this black stain before, and it's hard. It is not easy to stain something black. I'm actually attacking this door a little bit differently. Like, I'm fully assembling it when it's finished. So like the exterior has all the moldings like nailed, glued on. All the interiors are actually like frames we're going to apply But the panels and everything we're going to assemble after the door is finished because I don't want to have to try to battle in the panel, you know. But what does it matter? I'm going to have a fully sealed panel now. So even if the door shrinks or moves, even the panel will be completely finished, you know.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, some of those little details you don't realize what go into doors, and, you know, I don't know. I try to show that when I build all the doors, all the extra little things, you know, that go into it. It's not necessarily the sanding, but the weep holes. It's the finishing of the inside, the way you glaze your glass. You know, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I saw this morning you drilling those holes. That's nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. But you just clean bit, take your time, and then, you know, it's kind of those things like stave cores. Like you're really kind of your top and your bottom are your, you know, white oak, but, you know, I'm just trying to. Straight right through the pine, real nice and easy.
Yeah, so that bit, if it drifted up, when it hit the resistance of the oak, it would probably start.
Yeah, I could show you a door, no bullshit, when, you know, obviously you learn. I used to not make mullions in my doors. So I used to actually mount the flush bolts into the stationary door. I can show you this one set of doors I did. I tried drilling like a 2-foot freaking run of a freaking hole in a solid white oak door and came out the face of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you feel like you're going dead straight, and then...
Oh, no. And it's just like, you're like, and then you got to fix it, and then you still got to get the hole in there.
Yeah.
So that's when
you're battling that existing hole.
No, so that's when I just really, you know, at times like this, you learn new tricks and trades, and I just turned it on edge and grooved the line straight down the thing and glued a new piece in, and nobody notices that because that's, you know, really who's staring at the inside of that door. But now I make a mullion, you know, and a mullion is, you know, it's a T-shaped piece I make out of 2 different pieces. If you look at, I don't know, my stories today, it's, well, you see, I'll talk about it quite a bit, but, like, you know, that gets the flush bolts, which actually has a track in it that, you know, the slide bar runs through. And then also that has a piece of weather stripping in it that the other door seals to. You know, like, the thing is, I always not forget how much goes into a mullion. It's a day to make me a mullion. You know, not a day, but, you know, it was a process. So, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, doors are a whole different animal. How about that big curved door that we were talking about?
Oh, what? The one you were sharing yesterday?
The one that you sent that I sent.
Yeah. No, that was an interesting piece. I would have enjoyed building that. Yeah, it would have been definitely a challenge.
Us too. We had like 6 months.
What did you? Can we talk about the price of that?
Yeah, I forget what we were at for the whole thing. It was like $110,000 for like 4 doors.
Like that though.
Well, that was the big one. Then it was 2 like plain ones that were barreled like that.
Okay.
And then it was just like a regular door with side lights.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds about right.
Or maybe it was 150. I forget. It was over 100.
It was a lot.
We did those barrel doors for the doctor's office in
the barn door
in Manhattan. Yeah, that was a really cool project. I'm not gonna lie. That was right around the. I think I was literally laying in the hospital bed, and that guy called me. And I was like, hey, listen, it was a random call I picked up. I was obviously feeling good. And he's like, hey, I got your number. And, you know, he's like, you know, no, everybody laughs at me. He's like, so can you just listen to this? I hear you're the guy. And I'm like, what? And he's like, so I have a round room I need barrel doors for. And I need them to roll with the barrel. I'm like, okay. He's just like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay. He's just like, that's it.
He's like, oh, you are the guy.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, listen, I explained my situation. I go, it's going to be a few weeks before I get out there. And he's just like, okay. And from there, I was like, listen, I need you to touch base with me a couple weeks. He's like, you really picking up from the hospital bed? I'm like, yeah. Like, you know, I got nothing else going on right now.
Yeah, this is small business, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much. So later on, I met the guy, you know, and he showed me the room, and I told him what I was going to do. I took a piece of the track home that the room was made out of. And, you know, whatever, I bid on the price. I got it. And, you know, it was really cool. So we did a round like ottoman in there. And then the front desk, we ended up doing like everything that we did in that place was curved and wild. And it was just. Was
that the one that you had the issues with the veneers? Like it bubbled or something? Or was that something else?
Veneer bubbling. No, that job was, of course, another all white oak job. No, but the doors were, I used wiggle board and, you know, the vacuum bag and pressed those, you know, multiple layers. Basically, I made my own plywood. I got 1/4-inch wiggle board or 1/2-inch wiggle board, whatever, and then ended up making a 2-inch door, just basically pressed over a form.
Yep.
You know, basically pulling off of the radius of what I was given. You know, it was pretty simple to me.
So that's how you made the rails.
Yeah, and then
it was a slab, right?
Yeah, it was a slab door.
Slab.
Yeah. What'd you do to the edges?
Oh, the edges, I just
Bondo?
No, I just ordered some 2-inch edge banding.
Oh yeah.
Straight up. And I cut them flush, and I cleaned them up, sanded them, I headbanded them.
And what, the top and bottom you didn't worry about because you're never going to see it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, those are all the details people probably would worry about, but like in a commercial setting, also like in real life, who the hell is looking at that crap? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, when you go to the doctor and you're sitting in you go from the waiting room into the office and you sit there for 20 minutes.
And I felt bad.
And you start to look around, you're like, oh my God, that's like some of the worst work that you...
You want to what? You walked in? Yeah, well, you walked into this doctor's office and you were greeted by like this magnificent front desk that had like, it was almost an elliptical... What is it? What is that called? Where see, I'm not a smart carpenter, but it's got 3 different curves to it. So like, there's a very gentle curve around the front, and then it had a hard curve around the side front desk, and it was all this cove molding.
We got somebody looking for that right now. I had you in mind for the CNC work on that, but I told him it was going to be expensive.
Yeah, it is going to be expensive. That machine ain't cheap. We got to get it running, though. But that was a fan. I mean, again, that's all William and Hussey, you know? Yeah. Actually, that would have been also a great CNC project, but my at the time we didn't have it. I was working out of my buddy's shop. We actually ended up... So my brother drew it, and then we went to Staples and basically made templates, and then traced the templates onto the mold on the wood, and that's how we got all of our arches and our shapes to it. So
you make a pattern and use the Hussey with a bearing?
No. I'm talking about the plywood. So there's a plywood substructure to the desk, and that was how we got the shape. And then basically there was a lot of straight pieces that I basically started in the middle, and then as I worked them around the side, I had to accommodate for back cutting each one of them.
Okay.
And then basically hand sanding and filing them smooth together. So it was a lot of multiple pieces kind of basically hand forming around the side of this desk.
But if you had to make a molding like that.
Oh, a molding like that? So you basically, to make a molding like that, yes, you would basically make a pattern. And then, you'd have to actually cut your piece out of the top.
Yeah, like they wanted something like that.
Yeah.
Then these continued down.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but basically you could do it like that, or, you can make it with, a router, like whatever. But, you actually, you scroll through my videos, you can see how I explain how to do one of those. I don't explain because I don't like talking very much. So
it's like an arch top, but instead of having square, miter corners, they want another radius there.
Yeah, you can do that. And then sometimes, like before I even had the CNC, it was just about playing with circles, and that template is you make for the router. You know what I'm talking about? You make circles, and then just getting all the circles to work together. Like I if you look at some of my older work, I've never had a CNC, and and the old timers, I'm duplicating their work of didn't have a CNC.
Yeah,
they worked off of they
had molding planes.
Yeah, they had strings, and you know what I mean. They built everything with a string, and a pencil and an awl. You know what I mean. They pegged a hole and traced a circle and cut it out, and they smoothed it out, with their hands, and then they sucked it through a machine, or whatever. So
problem with this job is they have a very tight budget. Of course,
get out of here. I've never heard of that. Really. Yeah. By the time the finished guys get there, there's no money?
Beer budget with a champagne taste.
Oh, it never happens.
They're like, we want this bar. Like, we're thinking like 10,000. I'm like, and you want this? I'm like,
I'm finally getting to the point where I feel like, I do post quite a bit, but like, I'm also trying to justify a lot of the work and the detail that goes into the doors, and I enjoy making the videos as part of the craft now. I've made it part of like what I do. So it really doesn't, sideline me too much. It's just about having the tripod around and the other camera and just, taking a couple of videos as we go about the day. And then, you sit home with your cup of coffee or, at night and you just, make a quick video.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was going with this.
The budget.
Oh, the budget. But yeah, so I finally have clients that, appreciate it. And I show up with these doors. They've watched me build like from a pile of sticks. And they're like, oh my God, they're actually like, they've watched them be born. You know what I mean? It's like a child, that I'm showing up with it that they get to have, and, some of them don't realize how much goes into it until they watch me do it. And then they get actually their hands on it. And they're like, wow, I know I went into this, Lexi and Noah was one of the last doors we did prior. I call it the belt buckles for Bed-Stuy door. And, they're very patient for us to get it done. But, when they got it done, they stopped me multiple times to tell me how beautiful it was. Their kids were like, oh my God. And, they were really on FaceTime with their dad. I guess his dad's a blacksmith somewhere up in Boston. And, what is it called? He was like, oh my God, he had him on FaceTime. It was cool. You know, like I appreciate that. You know, it makes it worth the effort, you know, when people are actually really happy and satisfied. You know, you get that, like, you know, I like getting paid, but like, you know, when clients are pain in the ass and never happy, you know what I mean? Like all they do is nitpick your stuff. Yeah, guys, I know. We all go through that, but like, you know, we also get the clients, and what we really do it for is, you know, that smile and that happiness, you know, like I'm trying to like niche this corner of like, you know, you have a million doors in your house. Like, let me be the first one you see and the last one, you know, let me make you be happy to come home to, you know, and like, and let you watch this thing get made from me. You know what I mean? Like, I want the clients to have like a good experience with me, that, you know, like almost they think of me when they look at their door, you know, like they don't want to think of pain in the ass contractor or whoever built this door, you know, and I've gotten comfortable with myself enough to be clear with these clients of who I am. And like, you know, it takes some time, and I'm not always, you know, going to pick up the phone, but I'm here, you know, I've gotten better at it, you know, and communication, you know, like it's going to take some time, and a lot of clients don't want to hear that. But if, you know, they know what they're getting, you know, they'll be happy to wait, you know, and when it's their turn, it's their turn. Like the door I'm building right now, the client was, you know, she texted me the day she saw me installing the last door. She's like, oh, I'm so jealous. I wish it was me. I'm like, you're up next, and I let you, trust me, your door is coming in. I like your door. You know what I mean? Like you're on deck next. And it was kind of happy to hear that, you know, she was excited, and along the process, she's been, you know, fueling the fire of, you know, saying how much she, you know, likes it and enjoys watching me build it, you know, which is cool, you know?
Yeah. It's good to find clients that appreciate a small shop, you know, like that big curved door.
Yeah.
That's a big shop that built that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no shit, they could do that. You know what I mean? They have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. Yeah. They've got probably dozens of guys working there. They have every resource known to man. Yeah. But when guys like us can pull stuff off like that.
Yeah, one or two guys with limited resources.
That's what it's about.
Machinery.
Yeah. That's really what it's about, you know, like, and that's what I'm just trying to do. Like I enjoy my big commercial shop, but, you know, like most craftsmen, we'd be happy to walk out back to a beautiful shop and just build what we, you know, love. Yeah. You know, like it does put a little bit more pressure on getting the projects out the door that I'd like, opposed to, you know, like being able to relax on them for a minute and let them, you know, simmer and get really done, where I have, you know, indeed to make profit, which we all have to do to, you know, to put a roof over everybody's head. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it is a blessing. It really is, you know. We have, you know, profit and pride, you know what I mean? It's one of those things, you want to have all the pride, you know, but like you got to walk away with a little bit of profit, you know, like, you know, people don't realize that, like they don't, like it's just, you know.
No, it's, you know, back before Instagram, when, I started out, I used to feel so guilty, like getting a big check from somebody and saying, you know, it's going to be like 3 months for something, that I used to send them pictures.
Yeah.
You know, as I was going through my day, I'd send, you know, take like 2 or 3 pictures. And most people would say, I didn't realize so much work went into whatever it is you were making.
Yeah.
Just as simple as breaking down the lumber, you know?
Yeah.
Right. You're right. I'd send people, it's like, here's your lumber getting delivered. Yeah. The end of the week, here's all your parts labeled.
But again, I think it's about communication. Yeah. It really is. Like, obviously, clients, I feel really guilty about not communicating with the client that gave me a large check and like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm getting in the process of like starting projects, you know, overlapping projects. So it's not just a cut and dry process. So like right now we got stave cores going for the next project, and I order glass and I have the knives, and like, so like really when it's time to like dedicate my time to that job, it's not like, oh, we got to do this and do that. It's like, no, like we have the stave cores. Let's get the veneers. Let's get it in the bag. Like tomorrow we'll have that assembled. We already have the glass. We can check that size 3 different times. You know what I mean? Like I'll probably make an arch for it, like start bending some things so they're ready to go on the side, because that's also very time consuming.
That's the curse of having overhead, is that, you know, in the past, you know, you could have a little bit of downtime. You could be working on one job and have those little moments of downtime. Yeah. And it's fine. But when you have, you know, $4,000 rent and all that to think about, you have to do multiple jobs. You have to have multiple jobs going on at the same time.
Yeah. No downtime.
You have to stage it. You have to stage it. And like, you know, you're very lucky. You have a teammate here. You know, you guys can, you know, brunt the load together, you know, and like figure out divide and conquer, which is a great thing. You know, I was really hoping that was going to be my case in my shop. It's taken a couple different turns, but like at the end of the day, you know, we'll push through and you know, make everybody happy and make some beautiful things and keep a smile on our faces. You know, that's just it. You know,
it's important.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's going through it in one form or fashion.
Yeah. That's you know, we could talk about the loveliness of social media and how it could make this all seem very, very luxurious and lavish. Like, yeah, Jeff, look at this great new machine you have back here. You know, it's like, yeah, but you know what it took me to get here and what it takes on the sideline to keep it running and working.
Yeah,
no, nobody knows. You know,
just the logistics of getting aside from all the money it costs to get a new machine, the logistics of getting it and setting it up.
Yeah.
You're talking about money, just bleeding money out.
I could
A couple of days of nothing.
I know. That CNC, when that thing showed up, was a whole rigging crew. First of all, they were paving our building, and they basically pushed off the paving so that we could get our machine, you know, pushed in, which is, you know, took a very large rigging crew. I mean, tractor trailer showed up. I mean, a big ass forklift rolled off that thing and picked that thing up. But once they got in the building, it was on skates, put over in the corner. And it was pretty easy. I was like, but getting it from here to there, yeah, it was a lot.
We didn't even get a rigging crew for the edge banner. We were the rigging crew.
Were you?
That thing showed up in a box truck.
Yeah, showed by joiner, showed up in a box truck, and I'm sure that thing was the equivalent weight of the CNC. The CNC was just so massive. You know, it just needed to get picked up with such a spread. And I'll be honest, I'm already going to be pricing moving it with the rigging crew. And I'll just have to move everything because it was just too much last time. It really was. Like I'd rather like maybe take an out project for a month, like knowing I'm going to be in the field. Like if you could, you know, figure that one out, maybe that'd be, you know, work out, but maybe it won't. But and then just let the shop, you know, let them do their job. You know what I mean? That's kind of, as you get older, I'm figuring out like just what to pay people to do and not do. You know what I mean? Like I just ain't got time for that shit.
Yeah,
I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, do I have the money for it? No, but it's the whole chopping wood and paying for oil, you know, thing. Like, if you don't have any time, you buy the oil. But if you have all the time, chop the wood. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes you got to buy the oil.
Yeah, that's like, you know, we did a couple jobs. Well, yeah, we did a couple jobs that we had like CNC cut. We did jobs where we bought the doors. You know, so it's like take a kitchen that might take us 12 weeks to build, but if we farm out the cutting the boxes and making the doors, now it's a 1 week job.
Yeah, I know.
And, you know,
that's all my old boss used to do.
The profit is way less, but in those 12 weeks, we did another 8 jobs.
Yeah, it's volume. It's all about it's all about what you're set up really to do. You know what I mean? It's really, as cabinet guys or carpenters, it's like if you don't niche somewhat, you end up doing a lot of everything, and then it's hard to get into a rhythm and make money. You know what I mean? It really is. Like recently, like I'm in a niche for the doors. I do a lot of doors, obviously, you know, for the doors, but like I'm building a lot of things. I want to build anything and everything anybody puts in front of me. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's hard to slice over to the other side. Like, okay, we're going to take this off the burner and go over here. Yeah. Now I'm in a run of doing. I couldn't tell you how many doors in a row right now. So now it's just like I just move through the motions. I come in, I know what needs to get done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, although I was a little rusty in the beginning of the summer because we did that massive bar and, you know, some other things, like, okay, let's get back to doors. And it was like, wait, what are we doing? Okay, let's go. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, you think it's funny, but like that's
I laugh because I relate totally. I like to have all my parts lined up. You know, I like to not have to think about everything that's going into it.
When you're doing the same thing over and over, you know, the same kind of thing a lot, you can either A, price more competitively, or B, make a better profit because you have all these systems on how, you know.
Well,
when you build 12 doors in a year, that 12th door is going to take you way less than the first one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and it's about, you know, talk about the top, bottom of the door. You know, it's about, I'm not saying what you're going to get away with, but like, I keep getting back to this thing about like everybody wants everything so perfect and everything to be perfect. And in this Instagram world and this fake media world, like everything's got to be perfect and looking perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Like, and I'm not going to say like my doors might look perfect, but I also might know every flaw on them. But you know what I mean? That's not perfect to me, but it might be perfect to somebody else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
we talked about that last week with Clinton about scribing, how Instagram created this like really toxic, expectation for scribing. You're scribing these fillers to this stone. It's like, nobody fucking cares about that. The client doesn't care. You could do it. You could do it. I could do it. Anybody could do it. It just takes time.
Yeah.
But the client didn't necessarily pay for all that time. You know what I mean? Like if the budget is here and the client's expectation is here, I'm not going to spend an extra 90 minutes scribing this thing, airtight. It's going to get close and we're going to caulk it in. That's just,
yeah, exactly. There is, like I said, this expectation. Everything's perfect because nobody's showing the bullshit. I try to here or there. You know what I mean? Like,
we sacrifice enough for the client as a small business. We're always giving more than we're being paid for.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got screwed for the first time ever. I've only ever taken one set of doors home from the city. And that was because I showed up to a site the other day that wasn't prepared for me properly.
I told you should just tap conded in.
Yeah, well, dude, no bullshit. I probably could have and should have, but at the end of the day, like the client had an obligation to provide an opening for me. Like I wasn't. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I ended up doing the guy's job anyway. Because I just needed to get the freaking door done, and it was just like, you want to know what? And sometimes it just is what it is. You know what I mean? And if I was prepared, I would never have left the doors in the van. I would have put them in because it's just what we do. I'm not that guy who likes taking things home. Like I don't like saying I can't do anything. That should never be in your,
Yeah.
Like I like being able. I'll be honest. Like, come on, how many cabinet guys that can't frame, that can't do any kind of back blocking? You know what I mean? Like they show up to a job and they're like, I don't know, and it's just like, come on, guys, really? Like but it's almost like having a plumber show up, and who you talk about electricians and plumbers who can't do a rough. You know what I mean? Like who can you got a guy who can only set a toilet? Like what the hell? You know what I mean? Like dude, that guy should be able to plumb that thing, clean that drain, whatever it does to do, start to finish with that thing. And that's how I feel carpentry should be. But like, we get these aisles of like, like I'm a finish guy, I'm a framer. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, it's like anything. I think that should be like the progression. It's like you start as a framer, then you become a finish carpenter, then you become a cabinet maker, then you become a furniture maker.
Did anybody go to tech here? Vocational school? No, you didn't go to vocational school. All right, so. That was the greatest part. I actually learned from my vocational shop teacher was fantastic. Tippy Larkin, Morris. He was Morris County vocational school. Old timer, World War II CB. I mean, the guy was tough as nails. They call him Tippy because like he used to be a boxer. I mean, always wore overalls and a conductor's hat. I mean, you're classic like what I strive to be as a carpenter back in the day. I mean, the guy had the
like
old
a Larry Hahn kind of guy.
Dude, the guy had the old stick tape, ruler. Man, he whipped that thing out. And he could do math with that thing. I still can't do. Like I can't get it figured out. But man, he literally took you from the ground up. I mean, you literally started out with foundation work, form work, hand saws, and you worked up. You built the foundation walls. You know what I mean? You did somewhat of masonry work because that's what a carpenter did. You did your form work. You know what I mean? And then, what is it called? Then you'd start building a shed. And a shed would have everything you would need to know into a framing house. It was a small scale house. And then from there, you moved inside and you started doing some cabinet work and some finer things. Then he taught you about trim work and stuff like that. Like it was fantastic. And then, I also was very blessed to work with some great carpenters who, guys like this aren't around anymore that would literally like take something out of the ground and build every aspect of it. There was no end to what we did. Oh, those guys take care of that. It's like, hell no. Like we were putting in flooring right behind the freaking sheetrockers, and then as soon as the painters, we didn't paint, but as soon as the painters were done, we were trimming, and if we, in the meantime, we were out back building the deck if we weren't inside doing something, like, or the front roof. Like, man, I'll talk about Scott Polio all day, man. It's a love-hate relationship, but that dude, man, we would cut the lot down, mill the wood, build the frame, and then like, in the end part, put the wood back into the house. Like it was crazy, so like great teachers,
some of that's attitude too. Makes me think of, remember that, was it Hoboken or Jersey City? The big tall, the big wide piece that went in with the wall panels. We had to get it up the elevator. We had to, the guy was worried about us messing up his elevator.
Yeah. That was Hoboken.
Yeah.
The white thing.
Yeah. So we had these big wall panels that were made, and then there were these outlets in the wall that we weren't prepared for. But, Jeff cut them in. It takes another hour or whatever, but it's not like, no, this isn't part of our
scope.
Yeah,
you didn't tell us that there were outlets. We got to go,
You just
that
did
happened.
it.
It's funny. It happened the other day where I was the belt buckle doors. I totally forgot there was a light in there. I didn't have a hole saw to cut a light out.
Oh,
Yeah, I was out there with like my multi-tool. You joke about multi-tool. Yeah, doing surgery with the multi-tool. Like, I got to get this box in, like, because I'm not leaving this. When you get in there and you get to the point of like no return is when you tear somebody's front door out in the city. There's no return. You got to get the shit done. So at that point, it's like, all right, we got to figure out how to get this light in here and all this other shit. It's just.
Sometimes that happmes. You
just do it.
All those best laid plans, in the shop, everything's flat and square.
With old Mike Tyson line, everybody's got a plan to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's how it is,
And you get on site and you like got an old chisel in the bottom of your box that you're like,
oh yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I pride myself in never taking a set of doors home. That one set, I mean, they never left the van, but still, like, I know what it takes to get a set of doors in a day by myself in the city, and I know that the moment I step on site. And if I walked into that situation, I can't get this done today because I would have had to leave, go to the Home Depot or whatever hardware store, get some things, get back there. But then it'd be
3 hour,
10 o'clock. Yeah, I show up at people's houses. They don't believe me. Like, I'm in the city at 7 o'clock, if not 6:30, because I'm already planning my attack. I'm not showing up at 7 or 8, like getting ready to go. Like, I'm there at 6:30 outside your house, like staring at this thing.
And you're going to be leaving at 6:30.
Yeah, I'm going to be leaving whenever it's done. It doesn't matter. Actually, that's the end thing. Because I could have a great day and it could go leave there 4 or 5, but 99% of the time I'm leaving in the dark or 7.
Do you have a pain in the ass tax for a Brooklyn install?
Yeah, it just is what it is. It's part of the door package. I've only let somebody else install one of my doors once, and it was for the TV show. You want to talk about the TV show? For the TV show we did. In case anybody will plug that one, the Brownstone Boys, and what was it? That was the show now. I can't even think about it. It was oh man.
Let's see.
That how horrible is that? It was
what the hell just happened? Did it just get really loud for you guys?
No.
What the hell?
I'm good. But anyways, they installed the door.
I moved my phone and it turned my monitor knob. It got so loud. Holy crap.
They wanted, the best deal. And I said, well, I can just, we can do a curbside delivery at that point. You know what I mean? And I said, okay, because they had a contractor on site that was going to install it. And then I don't know what happened, but there was a massive gap at the bottom of the door. And maybe it was my fault. Maybe I messed something up. I'm not perfect. I am not perfect, but I could have.
Called Point of View, a designer profile?
No, it was Jesus. It was on the Magnolia Network, and it was God. What?
Barry and Jordan.
No, it's made. What did we do? It was
Brownstone Boys episode Magnolia.
Man. How horrible is this? You
It says Point of View, a designer profile. Brownstone Boys tackle a Brooklyn renovation and their home studio.
No, it was a Clinton Hill project, and it was let's see what we got here.
I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
Go hit it.
Clinton Hill is one of those neighborhoods that
oh my God,
used to be off limits when I lived in Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah. Wasn't quite gentrified.
No, now it is. It is. What is it called? No, it's
where I used to live, underneath the Brooklyn Bridge.
In with the old. That's it. In with the old. Yeah, and if you actually look up the Brownstone Boys, you'll see a picture of the door right there on the cover. It was actually on the cover of Magnolia Network, I believe, or Magnolia Magnet. What is it called? Magnolia Magazine, I believe.
Did they give you credit?
Actually, we did quite a bit of credit on that one. It was actually really cool. We went out and me and my brother went out and after doing a consultation, we did some drawings, and then we went out and did spoke with the homeowner and designer and the Brownstone Boys, and had like an improv meetup at the on site. They filmed. It was pretty cool, and then they came down to the shop and. They filmed me at my buddy's shop. I was at my buddy's shop at the time. My buddy Scott was allowing me to use his shop at the time in between our shop. And they filmed me doing some things. It was pretty cool. And I had them pick the veneers. And then they filmed me doing the delivery. Yeah, it was. We got credit. It was pretty cool. We got some screen time. And it was an experience, and then actually now I'm reaping a couple of the benefits for the last 2 doors. The door I'm working on currently and the door prior were both, people who found, saw me on there and, reached out to me and got a door.
Did they pay at all, like on top of the door or no?
What do you, no. Well, the funny part, we'll get into this real quick.
You get a good price for the door.
No, we'll get into this real quick. But I was already under contract with the door because I'm a guy who's reaching out. I'm not gonna lie. You'll see me on Instagram. Like if you're a builder and I haven't reached out to you, I probably will. And I see you're building something or something's going on. I'll be like, hey, what's the front door?
Oh yeah, I do that.
I do. Why not? That's how I got this door. And they're like, actually, no, we were gonna reach out to you. Or they were in the market looking for one, and it was an odd size opening. I think it was a 3.6 like 9.0. It is a massive door. It's that's white oak. It was a big boy.
It's almost like my front door.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge front door, but this is an old carriage house.
Pulling off the frame.
We were already under contract at the time. And again, they wanted the best deal. I didn't know I was going to be on TV at all when we started working on this project. And they were like, hey, by the way, the Brownstone boys reached out and they were like, they're filming this for the Magnolia Network. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I was just like, I'm in. Don't worry about it. I got you guys. And they're great guys. I like working with the Brownstone boys. They're the energy I want to work with. You know what I mean? They're just happy to, make people happy and make dreams come true. And,
and they're good salesmen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
To clients. They come in, they say, we got this guy. He builds these amazing doors.
Yeah. No.
We did this door. It's on TV, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. We also have done, this is our second project I've done. We did another project around the corner, but it's funny. The clients actually found me and introduced me to the Brownstone boys. And then we kind of worked together from there. And then it was great. Yeah, they came out to the country because obviously, we work in the country and, the Brownstone boys were out and we did it was fun. And then we went and delivered it. So, but I wish I installed that door. That's the end of the thing. At the time I was very busy and still kind of like, we not wasted a lot of time, but we vested a lot of time in the project, we waited the one day for the one filming, like for a few hours just to like be there. And it was like, we got things to do.
Yeah.
But like they're very accommodating. They're like, they'll give you whatever you want. You know what I mean? Basically, like, we were sitting in the car waiting. They're like, what do we bring us coffee and food? But it was cool. And then they came out to set, they mic you up and
did they do a good job or?
Yeah, the door works, but there was a gap at the bottom. And, either somebody never adjusted the bottom, didn't know how to adjust the bottom threshold. Or it was set wrong or something. I don't know. Yeah. But the homeowner kept reaching out to me and it was just like, dude, I didn't do the install.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me. It's hard for me to say, because if there was something wrong prior to install, I would have saw that and like adjusted it. You know what I mean? Like these guys just threw a door and said, the guy built it wrong. If so, you know what I mean? I'm not perfect. Again, like nobody, in this whole social media world, like nothing's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, whatever.
Any opportunity to not install something, I'm all for it.
Yeah, like that vanity we went back and forth on. Yeah, I'm not installing that.
When are you building that?
Next month, ASAP. But behind these other set of doors.
That was like that door.
Yeah.
I was joking around. Like literally, I could probably go back to the emails and get exact dates as to when that they just installed.
Yeah,
and they wanted that. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it was October 2022 that they said that had to be done. Let's see.
I hate that. And then you see later on, like somebody else did it. You know what I mean? Like,
we would likely need them to be installed around May of 2022, and they just got installed.
That's wild.
Because I said if we got into the doors full tilt. After we complete what's on our books, I couldn't see us having them done any earlier than October, best case scenario. And that was February 2022.
Listen, you can't make everybody happy. And I'm blessed to be busy. And that's what the lines I'm keep trying to say to myself, blessed to be busy. And it's like, you can't get everything. It's a small business. We can't, and you can't stress about it. Like I used to stress so much about the bids that didn't get out and the stuff I might have missed, or like a client seemed to know it and never came out. I like make sure to get out there. Like at the end of the day, like I'm sorry, I'm only one person. If you just convey that to somebody, like do the best you can. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. I'm sorry. Like, yes, it's 5 months out, and I'm sorry we're that far out. I apologize. We're not a huge shop, but this is what you're getting. But like, if you don't want that slot 5 months out. I have 5 months for somebody to fill that slot, which is basically a great place to be.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I hate being that cocky asshole. I really don't want to ever be that cocky asshole. Like, I want a client to be like, okay, no problem. You know, like the doors are building now. I think we went back and forth for almost a year now. I want to say, yeah. And then April, I went out and looked, and then, you know, we got her some drawings. And again, we were a little behind on drawings and stuff. I'm learning to do now, you know, fusion, yada, yada, and figuring that out so I can take care of those needs, like when they're needed, not down the road.
There it is.
Yeah. So I get it. I'm going to be playing with that very soon, you know, getting that CNC up and running and humming, you know.
Here's the white oak cabinets.
Oh, that you're doing right now?
Yeah.
That's cool. Very nice. I like that.
They're all mobile.
Yeah, so they're all on casters. And then we got this, like a mirror wall.
Okay. All right. You're fancy. I like it.
Here's that banquette.
See, but this is what clients need. Like, this is what sets people off. You know, it sets people different from I enjoy doing a nice piece of chicken scratch and making something look really cool.
Especially when you go into this, you start doing a rendering.
Yeah.
And you get this nice photorealistic rendering. You know, these are exact site measurements of the windows, everything. So they can see it as it will actually be.
Yeah.
And it just, you know,
it changes everything.
It blows their mind. But
that's awesome.
The computer gets nice and hot when you're running these things.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll be lucky if it doesn't crash.
I'll be figuring out.
Yeah, Fusion's good. And Mosaic. I mean, you really don't do, well, not to say that you don't, but most of your stuff isn't like production cabinets like that where you would use Mosaic. But Mosaic is super fast.
Drag and drop.
For just like cabinet boxes and doors. You know, you can just set your door style. The doors auto-populate. Whereas Fusion, you got to draw everything from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just have to get into it because we have the CNC at the shop, and you know, sometimes people think different ways, and I think, you know, my brother thinks one way and I think another way, and I'm not saying his way is wrong, but like it's kind of one of those things you think more eyes on it, maybe more brains in it, you know, like it can't hurt. You know, I think of a different way of woodworking as far as everything, and you know, he thinks of a different way. So I'm hoping to, you know, learn this and be able to like evolve what that machine can do with what I need to do. You know, it's not necessarily the tool, but the hand that guides it. And I always preach that because I don't have the nicest tools. Go back to the saw blades. I don't have the nicest saw blades. What do we got here? Ridge carbide. I don't have very many ridge carbide blades here, but you know, it's the hand that guides it. You know what I mean? Like,
what about sanders? What are you working with for sanders?
I actually got that one sander from TJ. I got that Surface Prep, and I really look in the market for a 6-inch sander.
Well.
What do we got here? We about to plug something else here?
We want to thank our third sponsor. You need a sander. You need an X-Sand. So Unita is their line of sandpaper, and X-Sand are their line of sanders. So we have, is it a 3x4 your sander, your Surf Prep?
My Surf Press is a 5-inch disc.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might actually like having a 3x4 sander for sanding inside panels and stuff between, you know, your coats finish. So it's a little 3-inch by 4-inch, and it's a true orbiting sander, which is what we have. And, you know, they make a line of 5-inch, 6-inch, 3x4s, all the sandpaper. And yeah, I've been using the hell out of that 3x4. It's nice because like it's not very aggressive. I mean, it can be. You can turn up the speed and everything, but sand and primer and sand in between coats of finish, it's so nice. You know,
it's a game changer for that, especially.
You know, you get real nice flat sand versus doing it by hand, where you got to worry about your pressure and your speed and all that stuff. So
yeah, I had the Surface Prep I got from TJ. Again, I just recently bought a bunch of 6-inch discs on accident. So now I need to buy a 6-inch sander. And
that's economical.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, whatever. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's how it happens, right?
Yes,
sometimes that's how it happens. You're just like, well, you know, I bought these. I might as well get that, you know. Oops.
It's just an excuse.
It's just, man, I have such a hard time with Festool. And like everybody's like, oh, get the Festool. I'm like, I just have a hard time like giving them any money beyond a track saw. Like I bought that T75 and like, yes, it's a great saw. But man, that shit is so underpowered. I thought for freaking $1,200 or $1,300, I was going to get something that like jerked my hand. I got a freaking 12-inch Milwaukee framing freaking saw. I'll show you some power. That thing will like. That's what I used to buck the doors with.
Yeah.
Was that? But it's obviously the bed's not good, and it's a framing freaking thing. So, but you know, being me, that's how I would cut my big 2-inch doors down. You know, was with this big old thing. And man, so I got the track saw initially for that, but I was like, man, I got to take 3 swipes on a fucking 2-inch door. Come on.
Really? Because we use the Makita. Use the Makita battery powered on an 1 3/4 solid oak door. No problem.
Yeah, I like to take my time, make it nice, but it's a 2-inch thick. I mean, again, like I think 1 3/4. Believe it or not, that extra quarter, it makes a difference. You know, it really does. You know, I don't know, but again, I was just not impressed with the festival. When I got it, I was like, "Shh, this thing's gonna be the bomb!" Like I'm fucking stoked, and I'm like, "Wow!" But like, it was my first track saw. It's a great tool. It takes a big size blade. It does a lot.
You got a Diablo blade on there?
No, I actually have 2 fest tools. Actually, that's one of my tools I filter out is I have 2 fest tool blades.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, track saws have just changed the game. I'm not gonna lie, it's a game changer. Like you saw the bar I did, man. Come on, that thing was all sliced and diced with the track saw. Twice, I'll say, because you'll know if people don't know, me and Jeff talk quite a bit, but like I had a pretty big boo boo on that. Again, we're not gonna say nobody's perfect. But I made the bar big, and I scaled everything what I thought was the right sizes. And the designer came in, and he was just like, "This thing's way too big." It was. I had 3 inches big on the back, and the front bar was 6 inches too wide. Like, I get it. I fucked up. But like, he was freaking out, and he was just like, "Man." And I'm like, "Listen, I'm the one who's gonna do the work.
Like, we're just gonna cut it."
I looked at him. I go. I understand. I messed up. I'm taking the fall. I go, but like at the end of the day, like you address the issue. I go. I'm not bucking back at you. I go. If you come in here on Monday and it's not right and I'm mad, then we're going to have a problem. I go, right now, like, I need you to go so I can do my job and fix this. And, you know, like, you'll come back and be happy. When you come back and you're not happy, then we'll have a discussion. You know what I mean? But right now, like, we'll address the issue. And I did. I took that bar back apart real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Sliced that thing back apart. I wasn't happy about it. Slammed right through some of those lamello connectors. Those things cut great. By the way, it's got a great soft metal. Pocket screws is what fuck you up. Yeah, that's what fuck you up. It's the pocket screws. But the lamello, those connectors, it's nice soft metal.
It's like zinc or something.
Yeah, it's nice and soft. I can slice right through those things, no problem. Yeah. I slipped like $2. 6 of those.
Yeah, that's $2 a pop.
Yeah, well, besides the blade, like I just at that point had a demo blade to cut through things, and then just when I got a fresh blade, started fresh. And
it's funny how fast you can do things sometimes.
Yeah. I again, I have a framer's set of mine line again with things. Like if you watch that bar, you'll see me how I built that bar. I pre-planned all the pieces. Put it together. We did the big glue ups, like what are on site? 'Cause the glue ups were 28 feet long on this bar. You know what I mean? It was massive glue ups.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I actually had M&T, Neil make the knives, where it was all basically everything was a tongue and groove. So when it slammed together, the glue joint, was basically made them perfectly together. It was perfect, and all the glue, it was great. And then I just sliced and diced material on site. I made some slabs in the shop. The hardest part was the sanding, really. But,
so you like coped the ends of each of them so that they were...
Yeah. So it was basically a tongue and groove.
How'd you do that setup? Just like a really big side support on the shaper?
No, so the shaper basically had a head. Basically it was a cope. It was a cope and stick. I basically did a cope and stick on everyone.
But they were long ass pieces, right?
Yeah, they were long runs of white oak. So basically I had to take a huge pile of white oak and make specific sizes that I felt were going to work per piece because I knew what I needed. And then basically mill everything up to exact widths.
Yeah.
You know
but what was your setup on the shaper to support all that on because you only got...
I had a power feeder.
2 feet.
I had a power feeder on the fucking shaper, but really I just had an in and out feed. Rollers on.
Oh, I thought you were saying you did the ends.
No,
the edges.
No, the ends basically what I did was, if you look at the videos, as I dominoed, pocket screwed, and epoxied the butt joints. So those actually got I feel like three attacks on them, and they were clamped. So it was and then I gave those a day to set up. So those are 24 hours. I used G-Flex epoxy together, and then I used T3 for the whole field because it's got to be food safe.
What'd you do? Pinch dogs or something on the back for the butt joint? to clamp them?
No, what I did was I do a lot of like bracketing, or I would say blocking. Like I have basically boxes of 2x2 squares with pocket holes in them. So I basically set one into another one, clamped it on it, and then pulled it together.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, people listening to this, they go, just roll back through my, things. You'll see me, doing some sort of freaking time lapse doing it. You know what I mean? Ask me a question. I'm usually I like answering questions. I just hate dumb questions, they're like statements, more like
Instagram's full of those.
Oh, I love it. Like everybody's talking about routers now. I'm like, what's a router? How is that going to help me with fucking, I'll pull out the dad jokes. Like how is the internet going to help me route this out? Cut this out kind of shit. Like
I was going to say before on the Festival sander thing, like in the past, I think that we probably would have said like the only choice to buy a sander would be a Festival. But, recently we got a couple Dynabraids and then we got those Unitas. And I'd say that there's definitely other options.
Yeah, they all seem to do different things too.
Like I didn't realize that there was this whole other sector of like nice sanders.
Yeah.
It's like I always knew about Mirka, but never really liked Mirka.
It's weird the way you go from like you get into it and then you start out everybody, you go into the depot, I'm getting with the depot guy, and then you get into it and then you get to the rockler and then it's like, then you start dabbling in the industrial and you're like, oh, this is the way you make money. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you're like, you can buy some homeowner kit freaking edge band, or you can buy like that monster you got out there. It's like this thing will get the job done, but what's going to make you some money, But then you got to stack the jobs to make the money. But we'll go down. You can't keep going down that chain, but.
It's a snowball for sure.
Oh, it absolutely is a snowball. But then you got to feed the machine. That's the other problem. Mm-hmm. We talk about my neighbor Ryan. He's got a freaking like a laser cutter, like a plasma laser cutter. I mean, that thing looks like a goddamn spaceship next door. Like the thing is like 100,000. I mean, I don't know what he paid for it, but like it self feeds in, so it's got like a feeder sheet. Like load one sheet, it goes in, while the other sheet's coming out underneath or on top of, and this thing is just blowing through parts. Man, I love watching it. It's really freaking cool to watch. But it's a laser. It's like,
oh yeah. It's like new doors.
Yeah, but then again, like he does a lot of manufacturing, and now he gets to pull away from like, I've watched him build this custom set of tables that's been his shop for a little while, but I'm like, but then meanwhile, I've watched him do all this like production stuff because he's got to feed the machine,
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. You want all these cool machines, but you got to feed the machine,
Yeah. The way I look at it is like, if we can stay busy enough with like this edge banded, Euro, frameless, commercial, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then, we can take on jobs like this white oak job where the profit margin is like basically nothing.
Much.
It's like you're breaking even after you get paid. So it subsidizes that kind of stuff,
People see the list price, so to speak. They think, we're making all kinds of money.
Man, jobs like that, it's just, you have to get into a production mindset. You know what I mean? Like one-off stuff is different opposed to the, like when I'm doing these doors, everything's one-off. Like this bar we did, like I knew I had to get in a production mode. You know what I mean? Like I had to basically put my head down and go, not every little detail is going to matter. I just have to make everything line up and then polish it smooth.
Yep.
And that's that. At the end of the day, this is a bar, but it's about set up and run. You know what I mean? Set up and run. It's basically what it is. Set up and run. And the better you can set up, the better you can run.
Yeah. It's all about having the systems in place, whether it's fine furniture or bullshit commercial cabinets. You got to have systems, and you can't let the finished product, the disparity between the two change the whatever the need for systems. Like, it's at the end of the day, a fine hardwood veneer cabinet versus a melamine cabinet, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
And the setup is the same.
Yeah. It's it's about finding the client for the project. You know what I mean? As much as it is, them finding us is us finding them. You know what I mean? And thank God we have these platforms right now that we can do out of self-promotion.
Yeah.
Like I was lucky when I first started this. I wasn't in social media at all. Like I knew a lot of people. I was always great at smiling, going to jobs. He's a project manager for a very large framing crew. And that fellow actually introduced me to one of my first historic jobs, and they knew me from running framing crews. They're like, this guy's going to come do the finish work, like the trim historic details. Yeah. I'm going to come. I'm going to kick ass on it. And actually, he took me for a ride. He said, listen, I want you and I want you, nobody else. Like, let's go. I'm like, okay. And then that's how the whole door thing snowballed and, how you get where you are. But like before that, it was like, I was on social media and one of my employees showed up, my young guy, Brian Grogard, who worked with me for many years. He's like, dude, you need some kind of presence. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay. So then that's when the whole Instagram thing started and like kind of snowballed from there, and now that's where I get most of my work, and that's how we got on TV, and you know what I mean? And that's how I met you, and I met all these great carpenters, and like I've always had a network of carpenters around me. I really have. I've always known like that was the way to make it, like by making friends and, keeping in contact with people. Like, try not to burn bridges. Sometimes you have to, but like really, always keep the platform there to build it again. Like I keep talking to my buddy Scott, like we used to fight all the time. Like, and it wasn't like a, hey, like a kind of fight, like more like somebody was going to die if somebody didn't come between us kind of fight. You know what I mean? Like hardcore, like fights. Like, I mean, we always came back together, but yeah, just got to keep going.
Yeah. Like social media, like I wouldn't say if you're a small business and you're not on social media, you're destined to fail. But you're certainly making it harder for yourself because,
this is just a fantastic platform to self promote, and it's like,
and just the resources, like the group of guys that we're in, like constantly, everybody's asking questions. How would you do this? How would you price this?
It's just fantastic. And then like me and you end up like bidding on the same freaking job, and it's like, thank God we were like on the line for that one because like, I don't know if we should really talk about the fine details about that, but like. The designer basically almost had one over on you. And that like broke my heart because like I've had that happen to me. And it's like, there's a lot of work that goes into your design and drawings. There really is. And at the end of the day, like that's why like I'll go out to a job. Basically the way I work a job is I'll look at a project, you send me some pictures. What are you looking at? And I'll throw a ballpark at it. I'm like, this is a ballpark. And if they're like, man, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, okay, that's great. We didn't waste any more time. But if they're like, okay, then I'll actually come out and I'll actually take a deposit for a drawing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then we will talk about what they want to do and what will be included in that project. And that price gets in the drawing. And from there on out, we can price the project, and move forward. If not, they can take that drawing to any other cabinet shop or any other door maker and say, hey, this guy was going to charge me this. What could you do it for? And if they're like, well, you better go back to that guy. Or you want to work with us. Like, you don't even like think about that. Some people don't even think about that, which is also a fantastic feeling, like we're not shopping. No, you're doing the project just here, like I feel like as I've been getting better and better with communicating with clients, I want to say like more people like trying to give me money, but like more people are trying to get their time slot, which is a fantastic feeling. Like, okay, no, you're 6 months out. Okay. I'm let's talk now, which is a good feeling. So
you want to see that vanity in 3D?
Yeah, show me that vanity in 3D. Show me what I have to build, which is kind of crazy to be building your thing. So
you're gonna have to sign the back for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the thing.
Don't worry, I'm gonna tag you in everything I do on this one. Don't you worry.
That's a funny one where they let the client. So obviously I didn't draw any interior or anything, but.
Yeah. All right. So that's how it's going to look. You're not getting any drawers.
Yeah. The funny part.
I mean, can we talk about this? Is this?
Yeah, I think we might have touched on it.
I mean, but can we talk about this? I mean, do you want to dabble into this? Like, this is like it's kind of a taboo thing that happens with us with people shopping our work and after taking a design and like they'll take our design and our time and they'll go someplace else and say, what can you do? Can you do this for better? And it's Robert.
That was like so we're this thing that we're building. Where is it? This window seat. This thing. So they're having renos done in the house, and we came in and gave them a price to build this. And the builder's got a guy, who does site. He would like build this on site. Yeah. And he says to the homeowners, he's like, "Well, what did they design? Just show me the thing, and I'll do. I'll beat their price."
Yeah.
But I guess a little backstory on the vanity. So, we had this project.
Well, let's start out with the door, because really that's how I met these clients. There was a very intricate, crazy door. Jeff said, I think Tim would be a good project. It'd be a good project for Tim. I'm too busy.
Yep.
And then next, they're asking me to price a vanity, a very different vanity from this. It actually looked.
It was just a single.
It was a single, kind of looked like this, but it was,
It was like, like cut this down.
Yeah. And I priced that out. And actually, I got Jeff calling me. He's like, "You're going to do this vanity for what?" I go, "What are you talking about? Like, how do you even know about this?" Like, and next, they're trying to get me to build this for the same price. And I was like, "No, first of all, that price is totally different."
You were like,
and
Jeff's they sent me an updated design. Yeah, I'm like, motherfucker, that's my design.
Yeah, and Jeff's like, that's my drawing. Like, and I'm like, oh shit, this feels really dirty. Like, I felt really dirty at that moment. I did. So I'm like underbidding a fellow carpenter's work, but like, again, I have no design time in on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so probably the price difference between us was probably your design time. I don't know what you got paid. It's your business. What you got paid for designing this, but like,
I charge them $350.
That's it. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, a little bit more than that difference, but like, again, they tried getting over a single unit on me on this one, and I didn't let that happen. And yeah, I ended up charging them. They are, going to pay more for the piece, but still, at the end of the day, it was kind of like, it felt dirty because it's like, I felt like I underbid you, and it was just like that wasn't the intention at all. It was just, I'm trying to work with a new client. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what happened? So I'm dealing with the designers, and they're dealing with the client. I don't think it was the client itself, but the architects or the whatever design team for the architecture firm, and so they're sending my stuff over to the client. And so I finished this design and send it to the designers, and they're like, "Oh, actually, clients just told me that they're going to go with Tim." I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "All right, whatever." So where the hell was I going with this? Oh yeah. So then I think it was like, I don't know, maybe the next day I hit you up and I was like, "Are you building this vanity?" Or I said, "You're going to build this vanity for." Yeah, because they said, they're like, "Oh, Tim's going to do it for like this much." I was like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah,
like, how the fuck is he going to do that? I was like, "You're going to build it for this much?" And then you were like, something like, "Oh yeah, they sent over this thing." I'm like, "This is my drawing."
Yeah,
but the designers didn't know that the clients were going and taking this and sending it to you.
Yeah, it was just again, and you don't even know. Like, thank God we had that connection, because if we didn't have that connection, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know who I'm bidding against.
Yeah.
But the drawings come from somewhere.
Yeah, I hate it. Because I just had a client in Jersey City trying to like give me the old. "Oh, somebody said he would do it for this." I go, "Okay," and that was it. I let him. I just said, "Okay." And I didn't scramble on the pan opposed to what he was hoping I was going to do. I did, and then can you do this? Can you do that? At that point, I asked clients to do things for me. You know what I mean? Like, well, can you do this and can you do that? And it goes both ways. We won't talk about some things, we're on air here, but it sucks. It sucks that clients can feel like they could do that. I wish I could go to the food store and talk to the clerk and say, well, I don't. This banana is a little brown. I don't think I should be paying full price for this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like, this bag was a little crinkly. And dude, these Doritos are definitely broken. A lot of broken pieces. Like, we're going to take half off here and do this here and do that there. And this is what I feel you should be getting. And I'm going to pay cash. I get a discount for cash, right?
Oh yeah,
that's my fucking favorite. Like, cash. Like, dude, we want to bury $20,000 in cash. Like,
right? I'm
not 20 anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a full grown adult.
I can only buy so many groceries and put gas in my truck.
Even then, you could write the gas off, and
right.
Groceries are groceries. You know what I mean? Like, it gets.
But I knew that client, well, not the designers. I knew that this client was a snake in the grass anyway, because just like those doors, we need these in by May 2022. They just got installed in December 2023. So it just goes to show you what kind of BS people you're dealing with.
I have a firm believing in we're doing carpentry, not brain surgery. Yeah. Obviously, I had the brain surgery, so like I know the importance of like some things, and I guess it's some things you realize later in life. Like what's important, what's not important. Like, making every client happy is not important. It really isn't. And I still stress myself out a lot. Like I'm here today because I gave up on my Christmas dream of getting a set of doors in. But I realized with some personal things going on I have in my life, it's just not going to happen. And you know what? I'm going to take a couple hours and come down and talk to my good friend and make myself feel good for the day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we've talked about this since just about we came down the last time. It's been 3 years, Like, let's do it. Finally, hit me up this, whatever, Monday, Sunday, whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come down. It can't hurt. My days are my week's already screwed.
Yeah, like last week, I swear we didn't get anything done last week. We had
I know the feeling.
The podcast. We had other business owners came in. We had multiple sales reps.
We had like
clients.
5 visits that one day.
It was insane. John Peters was here twice. It was like
I lock my door sometimes, and people think it's funny, but like I lock the door. I'm like, I gotta work. I gotta get the blinders on and get in the zone. I'm already distracted enough by the freaking digital leash I keep in my pocket around my hip. Yeah. Looking at posting or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that distracts enough of my freaking time. Like
even just clients texting,
emailing. Yeah. But like also I realized like if you don't handle it sometimes right when it happens, it festers in my head. Like yesterday, I had a client reaching out about a product, basically a production, update. You know what I mean? The next set of doors we're doing are Jersey City, and like kind of the client's gonna be a pain in the butt. He seems very, the client. You can just tell, and I'm like, okay, just answer him because he's going to be festering. He gave you a very large production deposit. And it's not fair that, for what he gave you should at least answer him back, like where you're at, even if it's not something he wants to hear. At least it's off your mind and you're not going, man, what am I going to say to this guy? What am I going to say to this guy? Like, fuck. Now, by the time you get back to him, he's mad you didn't get back to him and he's mad you're behind on his shit. At least you answered him right away. He at least knew at that point in time, like, hey, he's working as hard as he can to communicate with me where I'm at in the project and that, you are a priority to him. If somebody gives you a bunch of money, you should be a priority to them until you're done with their project. You know
There's
what I mean?
Nothing a client hates more than feeling like they're being ignored. Even if it's not the case. Like, even if you're like, just, I'm that busy where I can't respond to you until tonight after I leave the shop. They don't care.
I got one right. I'm everybody's been kind of wondering what I'm doing with my stories and stuff. And I'm actually project managing a project while we're doing all these doors too, on top of everything else, because why not? You know what I mean? Like,
glutton for punishment.
Yeah, not necessarily, but like I love pulling something out of the ground, man. Like there's something about it, like pulling something out of the ground, like that wasn't there and shaping the land and putting something up, and then I get to do the nice finish work in it. But they're old clients and they're great people, and I got great subs. I don't bust my subs chops. I don't and I said it to him. He's like, well, are we going to do multiple prices? I go, yeah. What are we going to do multiple prices for? So I can piss off my subs. If you don't realize that,
I want multiple prices. Who's not the best guy for the job.
Yeah, well, or you're going to basically take your subs and put them in a corner. And as a sub myself and a carpenter myself, I don't like being in the corner. I don't want to have somebody who I've worked with for many years come at me and go, well, I got Joe Schmo over here who just gave me a quote for like whatever, $200 less, $300. I don't give a shit.
Have fun.
Yeah. Again, like now you're basically taking the person that you've trusted and worked with for many years, and they're like, oh, so you're getting other people's prices, and now you want me to do the job for less. And then what happens with that is it becomes a double-edged sword. Okay, I'll take that money off. Anything that shows up in their way at that point, extra.
Oh yeah.
At least if you give somebody what they want, you can say, listen, I didn't buck back at your price. I gave you what you wanted. You should have known that in the job. Now, unless it's something like, God, when, or the framer cut a wire in this kid's bedroom, and it was a prime example, and the electrician just couldn't figure out where it was traced, where it's back, and it became an issue. We had to became more than I'll just tie some things back together kind of thing. It was like, oh shit, we had to do a lot of back tracing. We're going to have to maybe rewire this room. You know what I mean? Like it becomes an extra, that becomes an extra. That's some unforeseen, but I don't like being that guy. I want to work with my friends, my close subs, like they're my friends, at the end of the day, like we have to have a working relationship. Like you don't want to have to dread picking up the phone.
Plus you bring someone in new, let's say you, on the whole scope of work, you're using a new electrician. He was $2,500 less. You know where that $2,500 comes from? Now you got to look over this guy's shoulder because you never worked with him before. So you got to say, is he doing the right thing? Is he following the plans?
Oh, I know.
There's all sorts of things. I used to be an estimator in the city.
Oh, forget it.
So
I don't even know how you do that. Like I can estimate with the one thing I do.
Yeah, so it would be for the whole job.
And I usually fuck that up.
A commercial job, for NYU or something.
Oh, I know you
and
people.
That's the thing. You have to, that money comes from somewhere. Nobody's $5,000 less, or let's say 20% less.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Oh yeah.
But even if they are, now the project management team is going to be spending that money watching what they're doing because they don't know who they are.
You need every trade. It's like in the restaurant business. You need vendors you can trust. You need I can't be looking through the case of tomatoes every Wednesday.
Oh yeah, it's like those stack of hardwoods I got. Like I, in one phone call, my hardwood salesman was down there looking at a pile of wood, going, "Tim, you probably got enough." And I'm like, it's not that I don't probably have enough. It's like I ordered what I ordered, and I want a better product. And he's like, "Well, this is what we have right now," and I trust him. And he's like, and he straight up looked at me. He goes, "If you need a few extra sticks to finish this project, I will hand deliver them to you." And I believe him. I believe he'll come down and hand me like whatever pieces of sticks I need. He does that. He's a good guy, but like
I've heard good things about this guy, but I haven't had the same experience.
Who? Pete? Rex? Yeah. Really? What happened?
I have called a couple times for some things, and he's never got back to me.
Really?
So on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't. Pete. I think he's at the end of his time, if you ask me. But like again, I feel salesmen are kind of those things of the past almost. Like now, because now anybody can go online and shop whatever the hell they want, and there's really no elbow grease or handshake into it anymore. You know what I mean?
We got a couple.
Yeah.
You got a couple, but you don't have all. And that's what I'm saying. It's a dying thing.
Well, that's like Atlantic Plywood. We don't have an outside sales rep anymore.
Yeah.
He left and they didn't get anybody.
Oh, really? What's his name left?
Anthony.
Anthony left? Okay.
We're getting the same service.
He works for Rugby now.
What's Rugby? Is that another?
Rugby's like another
plywood
architectural building supply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody out there. That's why, again, like,
who are you buying your plywood from?
I don't use a lot. I don't use a lot of plywood. I do use Atlantic when I need it, but that's really it. And I don't.
You can't even get them on the phone now. That's the problem. You call and you get a voicemail.
Really?
If you call the sales number, you get a voicemail. Okay. And then you leave a message,
and you don't get.
Then you don't get a call back, and then you call the next day, and you leave a message, and you don't get a call back.
You know what you just do? You just show up at the freaking warehouse.
Yeah, well, I'm not driving all the way to Carlstead. But we opened an account with Worth because Worth basically carries anything that Atlantic carries. You know what I mean? Tafisa and probably wouldn't buy like pre-finished plywood from them. They more specialize in like the laminates and stuff like that for mica.
I hear you. I just, again, I deal with hardwoods, and I used to deal with this company, Downton Reader, out in PA, because I used to be able to drive out there and actually hand pick. But at the end of the day, I realized that wasn't worth it. And they're actually not even around anymore. And then whoever bought them shut the whole part down. And it was just like, man, that was such a cool yard to go to. They would, I'd show up there and I'd be like, I need 8-quarter walnut, and they just bring down a whole pallet for me. And be like, here, we'll leave you in the corner, and you just pick through what you want. And you leave, That
was the last thing I called Rex for. We were looking for 8-quarter walnut, 12 feet long. Nobody had it. Nobody. I couldn't find it anywhere.
I hate walnut. Hate it. Fucking hate walnut. And everybody looks at me like, oh man, how do you hate walnut? Listen, I've never had a good job with walnut, and that's just me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. Fine. Yeah, that vanity right there. Prime example. Walnut vanity. It already started out shitty. You know what I mean? I haven't even made a single lick of dust on it. You know what I mean?
You're going to have to call Neil for these knives.
He's already on them, I think. We'll get him.
What are you going to do? Like three reeds per piece, something?
I probably not. I'll do them individually to get a uniform look, because then you'll get the triple stack that looks uniformed, but opposed, then you'll have a grain match going down for each three. I think it will look shitty. I'd rather it be like really, bro. I don't know. I don't know if I ever just don't estimate enough for walnut. I don't know. This is obviously going to be some sheet goods and then some hardwood. You know what I mean? So the uniformity will come through the sheet goods, and then I'll try to grain match as much as I can through the reeves or whatever we're calling those. And then,
gonna make the drawer boxes.
I might just have Justin do those. So again, farm it out. You know what I mean? Do what you can, because while he's making the boxes, I can be doing something else.
Just make them out of white melamine.
Probably. Whatever. We'll make it work. It'll be
like, oh, you wanted wood drawers? That's like another like $4,000.
Yeah, make sure to hit them up.
You got to twist the knife on them.
It's a double-edged sword too, because I want to work with the people. They seem like they have some very interesting, great work, but and this goes back to the bidding on things. You don't want to walk into something looking like the fucking chump. You know what I mean? And a lot of times you got to do that, and it sucks. You got to take the cheap road in, and then once you prove yourself, you're gonna charge more.
Oh yeah,
and those are kind of the shitty people to work for. Like I was
3 years of our business was just like having to be the low bid. You know?
Yeah, and I get it. Like it's what we do, we got to do. But like at some point, you got to turn that around and be like, I want to make money. I want to be happy and comfortable. And
unfortunately, some clients, commercial clients, I'll call them, like designers and architects. They just jump from, the new guy to the new guy to the new guy to keep that price down.
The problem with that is all they're doing is pissing off everybody. You know what I mean? Like there's no satisfying. I don't know how people work like that, man. I don't get it.
It's integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, we ran one off almost 2 hours here. Woo.
I was going to say, I don't know how you're looking for time. I don't want to eat up your whole day.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll wrap it up in a couple of minutes. I got apparently a bunch of people calling me about this job right now, which is just, sometimes you just deal with some, whatever. Turn this thing over right now. So, yeah.
I got a little anecdote about integrity. We brought it up a couple of times. One day we're riding around and there's a contractor with a van wrap.
Yeah.
And his wrap is a photo of my work. He was a contractor in the same place.
Oh man!
So it's the kitchen, but he did like the tile on the floor or something,
Oh my god! Oh, that's.
And we called him out on it. We called him.
Oh my god! That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
that is. Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Oh my god! I could be. Hey, I know that.
It was really
built that son of a bitch. That would have been like if you didn't know me and like this. I built this thing later on. You're following me. You're like, wait, I designed that.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I fucking designed that. You know what I mean? Like, and we're kind of going through that with a contractor right now. We designed a door for, and it's a friend and client of mine, and we wasted 4 renderings only to them change the total door project, which made us change the total price of the project. And the next we weren't doing the project. And it was like, wait a minute, we just did 4 renderings for you. And now because you changed the door from it was a very large door with some side lights, regular door to a freaking monster pivot door. I'm talking over 10 foot tall.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a monster pivot door. And I was like, and basically all I charged them more was extra for the hardware because the hardware for the door was an extra couple grand. And I was like, well, I have to add a learning curve. Plus I have to add this new hardware. And they went with somebody else. And I was just, man, I'm like, and it was sometimes you don't take that deposit because you're like, oh, this is in the bag. This is my friend. You're not going to screw me over.
Yeah.
And actually, 4 renderings later, and it's actually, we're not doing the project at all. And it's like,
that's like that bar I was talking about that they wanted that weird shape. That I don't know what the hell you call that arch top with the whatever. Yeah. It's like an ellipse with circular radius. And, we just kept going back and forth. They kept changing. I'm like, listen, I've already sunk so much time into this, for free, just trying to bid this job, get to a design that I can put a number on. I'm like, I can't, we can't keep going back and forth.
Yeah. You just got to walk away at some point.
Yeah.
We were talking about the TV show and we were talking about, discounts and stuff. I actually had another TV show reach out to me and they were like, yeah, we want you on. Yeah, we want the store. I'm like, what's your budget?
$1,500.
We're going to give you exposure. What? No, you have to come up with some kind of budget, and I'll come up with some kind of door we can do for that budget, and we can work for that. I go, maybe I'll do the install or some TV time for free, but at the end of the day, I can't be handing away, my doors are pretty expensive doors.
Yeah, where do you think my money's going to come from?
Yeah, what do you think I'll be doing?
Rent with exposure.
I like exposure. Being on TV is cool, but I remember we did the TV show, and it was we were man, me and my brother geared up, we gotta get the website ready. We're about to get hammered. We were ready for the storm. Storm never came. It never came. Yes, I got a couple projects off and a few more inquiries, you know what I mean? Then it really was worth it. But exposure doesn't pay.
No, there's no golden ticket.
You know what I mean? Sure. Exposure does not pay. I just, yeah. You know what I mean? We have to do our job and we have to get paid. You know? I wish exposure paid. You know what I mean? Yeah. I really do.
Well, it's like those watch boxes. We built all those those watch boxes that are CNC with the octagonal box and all that. One of them went to Kevin Hart and then so the most recent one we built was the Patek Philippe 5711 or whatever, the Tiffany edition. It was like first one sold for like $6 million, and it went to the president of Patek Philippe, which is this insane watch company. And we're like, oh, this for sure. Like they're gonna want to order these for all the. Nothing ever came.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And we were doing these for a song, you know. As like you know.
I get it. Like you're putting out. I feel like you got to put that out there. You know what I mean? Like it's got to go out there. Yeah. And then you could say you did it. You know what I mean? Like not everything's going to pay back with work and promise. You know, some things you just got to do. And you know,
if you don't take those opportunities, you know, they're not all going to hit. No. But if you don't take them, the one that will hit, you're going to pass on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you're not going to have the experience to do the one that does hit. That's the other thing. Like these watches, you know, like this what it is, yada, yada. You know, I get it. I've done, you know, we've all done that stuff where it's like a promise for work or, you know, it's more of a passion than it is anything. You know what I mean? Or sometimes you're helping a friend out. Like I used to work at the dispensary for my buddy, you know, and I'm not necessarily going to, you know, but he's a friend opening up a small business, and he's like, dude, I'm kind of in a bond. Like, dude, I got you. You know what I mean? You're going to be a local business to me. You're an old time friend. Like, I got you. You know what I mean? Like, but
yeah, we've done some stuff like that.
Yeah, but man, stuff like that, man. I know what you're talking about. Where you're just like, man, gearing up for a storm. We're making this thing with dreams, and it's like nothing ever comes of it. You know, nothing. You know, like okay. And then there's always somewhere from like left field that the next project comes. I feel like when something like that happens, you know, like
they're like, oh, I'm Jane's friend. You fixed the leg on their table. I have like a $250,000 cabinet package.
Yeah. No. You just never know. We talking about those barrel barn doors. That project came from a project manager friend that like left the company, and we keep in contact with, but like I never thought I'd hear anything from. But he referred me to another company. Go down the chain here, and they had me bid on multiple things, complicated things that I never did. They knew I was a very intricate carpenter. They referred me to now this other contractor. So now I'm like 3 people away from this guy, and like this guy's using me, and like I'm like his like whatever guy. If he's got something complicated or things weird as hell, he calls me, and like he rests easy knowing, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. You know, so it's good to be that guy. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy you send a box to. I mean, the guy who like, I got something that's just complex as fuck. Who the hell is going to build that?
I got to write that down. That guy. That's going to be the name of this episode.
That's how it comes out, right? You just
capital that.
Now I feel like entitled here. Almost like I entitled myself there. No,
he's that. And
guy. That's the thing. Like I'm so humble. I don't say I'm humble. Like I guess you pat yourself on the back, but like. I get constant praises from people, and I'm just like, I'm just the dude who's too dumb not to say no. And I just keep doing it and figuring it out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And, if you're not always highlighting to yourself your own flaws and mistakes, then you're never going to get any better. Yeah. If you put out a job and you say, man, this is just perfect, you're fucking dead wrong. Yeah. It's not. You should be disappointed with everything that leaves because you want to be better for the next one.
Yeah. It's funny because we talk about the complicated things. Like I take on more of the complicated things for myself, you know what I mean, than I do necessarily for the money aspect, which is fucked up. But like if I see a complicated job, like I'm really like, oh shit, I want to do that. Yeah. Like I want to build that. Like like I'll get it in my head. Like like that should be mine. You know what I mean? Like that door you initially sent me for with the whole vanity thing. Like that was like a really cool like. I don't know. It was like almost
like a straight circle.
Yeah, it was like a hobbit. It was like a hobbit style door. Yeah. I was like, I want to build this. This is like a dream build for me. You know what I mean? Like, excuse me, and then get that off the list. You know what I mean? Like, get that dream build off the list and move down the way. You know?
Yeah. I feel like guys like us, we think that we're gonna do all these things and it's gonna build to this point where it's like we could just do everything and it's gonna be, but. I don't think you ever reach that point. You just keep taking on the. It's not necessarily.
We can't build anything. That's the greatest part about what if you literally sit down and you think about anything. I've never really shied away from anything and said, except for like things that I didn't want to really do. They're going to be disgusting. Like
it's like as long as they have a budget, the resources, that could, at least like break even.
Yeah, like. I guess you get paid in knowledge. It's on some projects, which is like, you know what I'm saying. You're like, God damn it! I wish I didn't learn so much on this project.
That's like when we were gonna build like 12-foot tall floral arrangement. We're going to buy a weather balloon and make outdoor paper mache and make a dome. We had to make a 12-foot diameter.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I remember I talked you into it as I was telling you as a framing aspect of how I would have built it was more of a structure and, a wrapping, you know what I mean? Which, everybody else in the group had a different way of thinking about it. And I was like, no, I would do it like this, very lightweight wrapping, substructure, and be done with it,
Like an airplane wing?
Almost, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly like that. I would make some, whatever.
Plywood.
Yeah, plywood radiuses and some laminated with 1/4 inch, MDF and, go about it that way. So.
It's like the Chaise lounges that we just saw.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
We definitely lost money on those.
Yeah. I probably should.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah. No, we could ramble all day here, but
I know. We could go till tomorrow.
I hope you don't have to speed this up too much.
No, we don't speed nothing up.
Okay.
We got episodes twice as long.
Oh shit.
So yeah, thanks for coming down.
No, thank you for having me, man. I wish it wasn't so long.
Yeah, as if they don't already know, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at True Trade Carpentry on Instagram. We actually have a YouTube page now too.
Yeah.
True Trade Carpentry on YouTube. Check that out. I'm really trying to push that right now. And then that's about it. We don't have a what is it called? We don't have a website up right now. No, we don't. Yeah, we lost our domain a little while back, and then somebody nabbed it. It's one of those things.
Oh my god!
Yeah, somebody nabbed True Trade Carpentry.
You have to add a dash in there.
Yeah, no. So we bought a new domain. It's just we're waiting to waiting to get that up right now. But it gets lucky enough, been busy enough. So
I was going to say if you're 5 months out, don't worry about the website.
Yeah, again. So just check us out at True Trade Carpentry. On Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're there. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Until next time.
All right.
Everybody take care.
We truly appreciate you listening. If you want to support the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show with your friends or consider subscribing to our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Yeah!